What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? The Celtic Warrior, Sheamus.
Wardlow here.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome to the dive bar of the IWC. Welcome to Wrestling on the Rocks, episode 1. Back again. This is on my birthday. Thanks, Marv. That went smooth as ever.
Jesus. The audio listeners will never know.
They don't know, dude. They don't get it. It's Marv's birthday. You know, you got to let him have it on his birthday. Of all days, you know? Let him have his birthday.
When I was in high school, there was a kid that, for some reason, like, it became a joke to tell the school announcers, like, hey, it's Kathy's birthday.
Yeah.
And they never paid fucking enough attention to care. So you'd have, I think, like, it was like 30 times throughout the year, like multiple times a week. It'd be like, oh, it's and Kathy Kim, which probably shouldn't say her name. and like, or yeah, any substitute teacher. Oh yeah, it's Kathy's birthday.
Wow, that's pretty good. Quick cheers and thank you to Fans First Sports Network, bringing you a lovely episode 1. Take a drink.
Cheers.
Let's get into a few things real quick right away. Man, I haven't even had a drink today. I just took one sip.
That's the problem.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you my glass. I got Busker Irish whiskey again. I like having a little bit of whiskey straight on the rocks, literally with a rock in it. Finally got some whiskey stones. It's got very spherical ball-like stones, so I got my cold balls in my drink again.
Do they shrivel up?
I mean, as it gets colder or warmer?
As it gets colder.
No, they stay steady. These ones are good.
Just drop them into. I got Henneninger. It's as I don't hold it toward the camera, it's a German lager.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Big fan of German lagers myself. Also, before we get over to Bishop, what are you smoking today? You usually got a little stick over there?
Yeah, I got a Fuente.
Fuente what?
Just Arturo Fuente special.
Especial?
Yeah, it's paid literally $2 for it.
Yeah, dude, they don't fuck around, man. Even their cheap ones and stuff are so good and solid.
Yeah,
I get people
that's
who
what I
swear
want.
by it. I used to have people come in sometimes and say stuff like, "I only smoke Fuente, nothing else," and it wasn't even worth like arguing with them about it because you're like, "I get it." Like,
That's
there's probably
fair.
something else I could find you'll like, but fuck, man. I mean, you got the whole spectrum there too. Fuentes from their top tier to their bottom tier, their levels, but there's like this baseline that they just won't fuck with. So,
Oh yeah, they won't mess around.
a lot of other brands I wouldn't talk so highly of. But Bishop, what do you got over there? What's in your glass?
Just a bottle of zero sugar Canada Dry ginger ale. It's not too sweet.
What's zero sugar?
Well, it's not in the NWO.
That's also their slogan. Jeez, just can't win
Oh.
over here.
That was
It's not in the NWO. It's pretty good.
yeah. Do they have that written on the fucking bottle?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Remember
So
that commercial though?
No.
Canada Dry ginger ale. It's not too sweet. You remember that?
I mean, my whole life, I was too sweet for life, you know? So, like, I can't imagine getting a drink that says they're not too sweet. I'd be like, oh, shit, man, I only fuck with the too sweet.
Fair enough.
Like,
Fair
I
enough.
wish I could, but I can't.
Fair enough. At TW Takes Podcast on Twitter, twtakespodcast.com. Just in
You
case
still
they
doing
didn't
stuff
know.
over
No, but it's still there.
there? Is it
Yeah,
there?
archives, bro.
Yo, dude,
Archives,
you know
bro.
something I don't understand? I
You
was
don't go to the
looking at.
library for new releases.
I went to our website the other day to see what was up, and I was like, man, how far back are these videos right now? It said the videos were removed.
What?
I was like, they're still there, dude. They're on YouTube. Like, I have no idea what videos were there that they just expired or some shit. I don't know. So I'm either going to take those down or get back to it or something. I haven't figured out what we're doing yet, but you can go to wrestlingontherocks.com/shop and get some fucking new tees, new designs. We got the new Thursday Night Chaser crew on a t-shirt. We got our new sponsored, not sponsored, with our logo on it because Amanda demanded it.
Wait.
Yeah.
I think I got it. Wait.
Yeah, I did it.
Oh, because her name's Amanda. Got it.
Yeah. And then the new logo, the new crisp logo is up there too. Did I tell you guys when I designed this logo and got it all crisp and finally like did stuff the right way instead of just hand drawn it? Found out that the other one I had was crooked.
Nice.
The whole time.
Nice.
Like, God damn it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's just artistic flair.
that's what I said, man. It's got some fucking spunk on it. You know?
Okay, maybe not like that.
No?
Spunk
Oh.
to it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't want to get spunk on it.
yeah, it's got some cum to it.
Yeah. Well, guys, let's talk a little bit about in the news. There was only a couple things that we talked about it beforehand. There wasn't. Here's the deal. I stay the fuck off of social medias most of the time. I scroll through Instagram because I like pictures. I scroll through Threads and realize there's not a lot going on here. I wish there was. And then I'll log into X for like a minute and go, this is awful. And then I won't go back on for like 4 or 5 days. You know what I mean? Like I barely go on this stuff. I still get notifications about things. So sometimes I'll check what I'm being notified about. But outside of that, I'm not looking at it. So I don't know a lot of the news that goes on anymore. I don't check it out because it also has never impacted my ability to enjoy what I'm watching. Right? Like the less I'm reading that stuff, the less I care about what's happening that's not on TV, the more I'm enjoying what is on TV, right? And sometimes you'll go there to see what's going on about certain things, XYZ. Why is this person missing? Oh, an injury happened. Oh, no. Boom, boom, boom. Which, by the way, I mean, I hope Cora Jade gets better. I mean, she barely got back. She hurt herself at a live show. She's going to be out for like 6 to 9 months. That's fucked up, dude.
Fuck.
I know. She was gone for like that long before. And I don't even think it was an injury thing. I think it was a story thing. And I think that it was her taking care of herself and she wanted to, go through her own personal surgeries and stuff.
Oh, the breast implants?
Yeah. whatever she wants to do, that's all there. But it wasn't
No,
like
I
due to
know.
injury that
Yeah.
was unavoidable. And then so this happened right after she gets back, and she's like, obviously she was going to be in the title scene, and just a bummer. So I hope she gets better.
Yeah.
So we don't typically know much news that's going on, but one of the things we did see that was going on was that bullshit going on with Kayla Braxton. I saw the video come through, and I know that like she had her reasons on why she shared the guy's thing, but the guy said a bunch of stupid shit. And I don't like when people get their notoriety, the problem with highlighting that is that guy just got what he wanted.
Yeah.
Because before that, I never heard of him. I had no idea who he was. Now I know to find him to block him so I can continue to never hear or know him. So there is that side of it. But not everybody is a reasonable person who's going to say, oh, this is somebody who needs to be gone. There are going to be idiots who see this and go, well, he tells it like it is. Oh, well, at least he's being honest. Like all those dumb excuses people give to people being assholes who
Right.
want to be assholes, right? So in one sense, it's all like, well, shit, I wish he hadn't have done that because now he's going to say he won. He got what he wanted. This is amazing. Look at all this clout I got. But on the flip side, she's also trying to highlight how horrible this is and how stupid this guy is. And it kind of reminded me of why we're doing what we do and why we haven't blown up, which I'm happy with. Because we like to come here, criticize things that we think aren't going well, offer up other solutions, try not to pick a physical fight with Drew McIntyre.
Fail.
And just enjoy it. You know what I mean? Talk about what we do like. Talk about what we don't like in a positive way most of the time. But we don't go on these big, loud, round, raging, screaming fights with nobody trying to get this weird clout. I don't know, Bishop, you saw it too. Do you think this dude even was meaning what he said, or what was your thought on it? Because I wasn't sure if he's just outright trying to get traction off of it.
You know, it definitely, people like that, they operate in an echo chamber, right? So they're going to say the things they say around the people they say them around. And, you know, and I'll say it on here because I'm not afraid of having conversations. You know, he was baiting Kayla Braxton by calling her a rape baby, and knowing Kayla Braxton's story and how she had to like battle adversity, like going for these weaknesses is just, it's garbage, man. Like, you know, I made the comment that he just has a lack of awareness. And what I mean by that is when you operate in your echo chamber and you say things that, you know, you probably shouldn't because they aren't nice, whether it's rape baby, racially insensitive slurs, or ethnically insensitive, whatever, like making those jokes or things that aren't jokes and thinking that they're jokes, like you lack a social awareness on how what makes you laugh makes other people cry.
Yes.
And wanting to do that for whatever it is, if somebody was like, hey, if you make this joke online, I'll pay you $1 million, I would battle over making that joke for the $1 million. You know what I mean? Because like I have morals and ethics, but this guy did it for free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He did it for free. He ain't making money off of it. Even if the episode he does get monetized, I don't even fucking know who he is, but let's say the episode is monetized. He makes fucking $600 from it. Was it worth it? That's how you feel? Like, it's just that's what I mean by lack of awareness to like there's shit bigger out here than words and situations. And that's how you want to operate. And it's so hard to come on here to talk this way, and people want to call you white knights and all this bullshit. I ain't here to save her. She's a grown girl. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. I see people acting that way. I got to say, you're a fucking idiot. There's no point in doing it except for this. Right now, we're talking about it. Now everyone else is talking about it. Now Kayla talked about it. Okay, what's next? In 2 days, people are going to gloss over it the way they gloss over everything, and you're not going to be famous anymore. People are just going to know Kayla got called this. By who? I don't know.
Some piece of shit.
Some asshole.
Yeah, some jerk off. Yeah, it's just it sucks. It sucks that people choose to start the conversation that way. It's not like Kayla went to his house, kicked him in the dick, and was like, hey, this rape baby came over and kicked me in the dick. Even then, it's still crossing the line. But what the fuck did she ever do to him?
Yeah.
I think there's a subset of people that they're they think humor never got past that cringy point in the mid 2000s where people would say stuff like that like midpoint of internet humor, and like when you'd see people like Anthony Jeselnik have huge specials, but people weren't getting anything beyond. They're laughing at the wrong parts of the bit.
Yes.
They're laughing at, oh, he said the outlandish thing, not what else is going on. So to them, the joke is like saying something outlandish and terrible, or trolling somebody, and it's not. You're just an asshole.
It's the Dave Chappelle thing. It's why Dave Chappelle left in the middle of recording his third season, was because he started realizing people were not laughing at the joke; they were laughing at the offense. Yeah. So instead of what he's trying to do is artistically and funnily to be able to bring levity to a bad situation, to kind of maybe you'll change someone's mind, maybe you won't, but maybe you'll at least let them see a different side of it, trying to project a satire on the ridiculous nature that is racism, because it comes from such a fucking silly concept. Like, I mean, racism is awful, but at the core of it, it's just stupid, right?
Yeah.
It just comes from nothing. So to be able to point a satirical spotlight on it and say, look how stupid racism is, right? And then have people laughing at the part being like, look how funny racism can be. You're like, no. That was not what I was saying. I'm like, but that's what I heard. And it's that same kind of thing where these kind of idiots go, oh, if I say this outrageous thing, like, what do you gain? Like you said, I don't know what you gain from it. Even the idea of like saying like, shouldn't say it because it's not nice. Yeah. I also think it's even deeper than that, of like, why is that thought even crossing your mind, right? Like, and of all things to call somebody, like, I mean, she even pointed out on her story today, like, it's the least amount of control anybody has of anything in their life is how they're conceived.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, even as you get older, you can do stuff to your body and your looks and your gender, and you can skin bleach and all that stuff if you really don't want to have a certain skin tone, and you can tan if you want to have a darker skin tone. But
looking
the
at
thing
you, Sammy Sosa.
Yeah, right at you, Sammy.
But his skin
But
feels
like,
so good.
yeah, right. But at the end of the day, the one thing that you'll never have any impact on whatsoever, no matter what you do, what you say, how you live, is how you're conceived. So the idea that you would hold that over somebody in some way, like you're superior in some way, the very act of you even thinking those words makes you inferior intelligently than anything else. But like you said, I don't know what the person stands to gain outside of infamy and
attention's attention.
Yeah. What's even more gross about something like that? You know what? And I didn't go past what I saw, so I don't even know if he said this, but people who say stuff like this, you know what they sit behind? Was I wrong? Is it not true? Like saying the truth out loud when it's that gross, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't. There's and I'll backtrack a little bit on what I said before, but because like there's cultures, right? There's subcultures of our own communities where, like, if we're boys and we're joking around, like I was in a basketball locker room in high school where everyone said everything, right? And me included. And there was no offense. There was so much love and camaraderie and all this stuff, right? And then you grow and you learn that, hey, probably wasn't the smartest thing. But my point is, like, that quiet part that was inside that locker room doesn't go outside. And there was a moment in this comedy section, like Club was talking about, where these comedians were making the quiet jokes out loud. And now everyone has taken these quiet jokes and they say them out loud. And without the context of the situation in which most of these things are manifested, like, they're all inappropriate. They're all not necessary. They're all not needed. Yeah, I mean, when you go back to like all the Greg Giraldo roast and stuff, right? Like, most of what all of that is in context is that they're friends.
Yes.
And it comes from love and care. So you can say the most vile shit to these people because they know you love them. And that's the part that misses with social media. Even if you are a fan, every single celebrity, wrestler, whoever it is that talks about a negative comment on Twitter, what's the first thing they say? When I respond, they go, oh, I was just fucking around. I'm a fan. They don't know you love them because you don't know them. You don't know these people. You can't say those things. So don't fucking say those things.
Well, and I don't know if it's this person, I don't even know if they'd say they're a fan, because the other thing that, like, it's attention, and it's also it's a man exercising a perception of power over a woman, because
Yep.
you know who he didn't say this to is Titus O'Neil, and I can't think of anyone who has a more tragic entry into this world than Titus O'Neil, and nobody's saying anything to his 6'7" giant. Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're gonna, but he's picking a victim, an easy target, someone he knows to get maximum like upset from, and that's bullshit.
God, could you imagine Titus in the comments go, say that to me?
Yeah.
Just come in the comments and go, say that to me. That guy's asshole is going to tighten up so quick. He'll probably throw up, because what are we talking about? You are absolutely right. The manpower over the woman, that she's 5'0", and all she does is try to project herself in positivity, and people just fucking tear that shit down, man. That's gross.
And the more you follow her too, the more you know that she battles with so much of her identity, and she battles with mental health. And like you said, but what she keeps doing is projecting positivity. She puts out a sarcastic front to make other people laugh, to make herself laugh. She's into the things that she's into so she can share that with others, right? And try to be open to people in a sense where she wants to be a positive light in a time when it's hard to be. I mean, it's kind of like Matt Cardona said, that he's purposefully positive all the time because it's very difficult for him, because he wakes up every day and he doesn't feel like doing it, because he does battle with like depression and those things that, like, if he doesn't make the conscious effort to be positive and make the decision, it's an effort for him. It doesn't come naturally. There's some people where it comes supernatural. They just are always thinking positively. It's those that don't, that put out the most, you know what I mean? Like the Kayla's and Matt's, I don't think that they wake up every day going, it's going to be easy to be happy about this one. You know what I mean? They go, okay, how can I be positive here and at least make everything else around me better? Right. And that's exactly the point that I felt too, Clump. The way he was doing it felt like a man trying to belittle a woman. This also felt like, as much as I mean, it's stupid in a lot of ways, but like the way people talk about the dick energy, as it were, it was like, it felt like someone who'd been rejected, right? You would never say that. If she was in the bar next to you and smiled at you, you wouldn't say that.
It does have mad incel energy like that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'm going to say this horrible thing because the world has not handed me supermodels on a pedestal.
Yeah. And you could never have someone like that because you don't know how to treat someone like that, because your reaction to being rejected is to say something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you've already established why you will never get someone like a Kayla.
It's all bravado. It's all machismo, right? Like, they're all trying to act and brag and posture a certain way because they think that's what alphas do and say. Because look, there's guys, laughing at me. And this fuckhead, I watched this shit long enough to go, oh, okay, you put all your alphas on the wall behind you. He's got giant posters of UFC fighters. Meanwhile, he's the size of this fucking ginger ale bottle. Like you said, he ain't saying it to Titus. He'll get fucking slapped down. No, hell no, he ain't too sweet. He looked like a Canada Dry ginger ale ass motherfucker. Like, it's just...
That's an insult I'm taking forward from now on. I'm going to throw at people.
You got it. All yours. All yours.
Yeah. Canada Dry looking
Cheers, Justin. I know you said it earlier.
Yeah.
Cheers, Justin. I know he's in the chat.
Yeah. Cheers to Justin Time coming through.
This fuck these people, man.
And to me, what it did was because look, realistically, we are in the wrestling fan podcast space, and we have been for years. 4 years or so. I've seen so many podcasts come and go. I've been reached out to by so many podcasts. Hey, we're doing a thing. Can you help me with this? Hey, can you help me with that? And I always give everybody that I can everything that I can, whether I cut them a crazy deal on giving them something cheap, whether I've done things for free, or whether I've given them a price or sent them to somebody else who can help them more, something out of my wheelhouse, right? Because we're our own bubble, realistically. Conrad does a very established style. You need the star, you need the co-host, right? Without a wrestling star, someone in the business, whether they were in front of the screen or behind the screen, and almost all of them were in front of the screen at one point, you're not going to just get your notoriety. So you got to find it a different way, right? And what we did is we decided we were just going to be a safe space to talk about whatever people want to talk about and not just tear people down in a way for their opinions. But this isn't an opinion. This is just an idiot, right? And so what I think he does is he shines a bright light on why people should not be giving wrestling fandom podcasts a chance, because how they're trying to establish their own notoriety is being loud and offensive. That JD idiot came across my feed today, too, or not today, but the other day. I didn't even listen to it. I just saw someone say, "What the fuck is this guy's problem?" And I saw the face and went, "Oh, I know what his problem is. He's a fucking idiot, and he makes us all look bad." Right?
Mhm.
He's the reason why if I go to a meet and greet and ask a wrestler to maybe give a little shout out to my podcast, I don't know about that, man. You know what I mean? They just don't know
Yeah.
because they don't know if you're a piece of shit. Because the
Mhm.
bottom line is there's a lot of pieces of shit who do this. And like you said, we just want to come from a place of love to begin with. We wouldn't be sitting here to have a drink with good friends to talk about good shows that we like. We wouldn't have cut out things. We've cut out watching shows that we didn't feel positive about because we didn't want to just bring a bunch of shit talk to a show. We don't mind critiquing. We don't mind like tearing something down if it's really not working for us. But we also don't just
Yeah, but you
beat on it
still
and
do
blame the
Wednesdays,
person.
man.
What?
You still
You
do
Thursday?
Wednesdays, man.
I do Wednesdays. I let someone else do Thursday now.
Oh.
There's a reason I don't pop on Thursdays. You know what I mean? I don't got a lot of nice things to say about it, but other people do. And let them have the conversation because I'm not bringing anything to it. So, yeah. Pieces of shit like that give wrestling podcasts a bad name. So I just wanted to tell Kayla we love her because that's fucking bullshit. She had to deal with that. And I'm trying to think if there's anybody even close to her as far as backstage interviewers go. She's in a world of, like a league of her own.
Yeah, she's really honed in on it. Yeah, cheers to Kayla.
Yeah. Cheers, Kayla. I like too. They put her in the video games and you can wrestle as her. Like how fucking good are you at an interviewer that's they're putting you in there, you know? So let's see. We're gonna say a quick cheers to Fans for Sports Network for putting us on yet again. You got to reach out to those dudes. They haven't paid me yet. I feel like they're supposed to. But I wanted to do two things. One, I want to talk real quickly about Hulk Hogan. Saved some lady's life in a car wreck, and he let someone else take a lot of the blame for it, which was nice.
Blame or credit?
Usually, that's what I'm saying. I wonder. I did think this when he was all like, because they're like, oh, you know, they both said that the other guy did a lot of the thing, and Hogan was just kind of there, and he was helping as much as he could. He assisted, but the one guy like broke the window and did all this stuff. Part of me felt there's at least a part of him that's like, I don't want to get sued.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because he feels like the type to be
That's why he
afraid
put
of-
somebody up.
Yes. Yeah. Well, because you know, people when somebody helps who has money, well, you didn't have to do this, you didn't have to do that, you didn't have to break my window, even though the car was upside down. You know what I mean? Like there are people who will pull that, and so I wonder if he held back on doing certain amounts out of fear of being sued. And I think that if that's the case, and I've heard people talk like that before, I just think that it's kind of a shame because if someone's preventing themselves from helping someone because they're afraid of a lawsuit on the other side of it, like that sucks, especially if it's a dude who's big and capable. You know what I mean? Like if David Spade sees you in a car wreck, he's not going to do much, man. You know what I mean?
To be fair, Hulk Hogan's 70.
He's 70, but he's still got the fucking pythons, brother. He can pull you out. You think he couldn't
I've
help you
seen
get out of
him
the
on
window?
WWE recently. Those pythons are wilting.
Well, they're not.
Yeah,
the
they're
same
probably
size
22
python.
inches now. Yeah,
Yeah, they're like
22,
20.
18, something like that.
They're like 18-inch pythons now.
I mean, he knows the gimmick, right? He told Undertaker before the tombstone on the chair, "Oh, I can't do it, brother. I don't want to hurt my neck." So Undertaker basically puts his head at his belly button, does the tombstone. He's like, "Oh, my neck." So he doesn't want the same thing to happen to him in this car wreck. He doesn't want somebody blaming him for something that may or may not have happened.
Yeah. Now, I will say, as much as I'm giving him crap, how cool would that be if you're in a car wreck and you're like fucking panicking and you look up and Hulk Hogan's there and he's like, "I got you, brother." You're like, "Oh my God.
Did I die?
I'm going to be fine."
That or I'm already dead, and I didn't know you were dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody tweeted on top of the article, when your car is crashing down and you're stuck inside.
That was Hurricane Helms who said that.
Oh yes, it was Hurricane. Yep. Yeah.
That's pretty good. But yeah, dude, Hogan being at a scene of a wreck and helping someone out. I always like those stories too. I've heard a few of them about different celebrities being just at the scene of an incident where somebody needs help and they jump in and help, and it's always cool. It's fun. Speaking of jumping in,
some good on. No, to say there's good to know there's a little bit of good in everyone, even people who have done some terrible things.
Yes. Yeah. Everyone can be a piece of shit most of the time, but I don't think everyone can be a piece of shit all the time.
It's really hard to.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Because you know why? Sometimes people are watching. He's like looking around. Fuck. Fuck. I better get
beautiful. That was
I'm gonna play this clip here. I'm gonna play this clip. Grayson Waller and L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on a daytime talk show in Australia, and it went awry, I feel like.
Signature finishing moves.
Can I give you one?
Yeah, can you, like, not me.
I'll just be over
Can you show us one of your moves?
No, I think it
Like
actually just showed on the screen there. If I do that, it's not going to be a good day
maybe
for
someone
anybody.
like our floor manager, maybe he seems
well,
available.
actually, our floor manager's leaving this week.
Yeah.
And he's sort of, I don't know if...
They're already
that's not for me. You want to go ahead and take this one?
Look, you...
Uh-oh.
I don't think you understand. Like, if I come over there right now, we're going to have the police here because I'm not going to give you some fake punch. Like, I'm going to punch you straight in the jaw. The disrespect that you have even talking to me. No, you want to talk to me like this ain't real? Don't act all tough, lad. Don't act all tough.
I'm going to get in the middle of this. You kick back. You kick back. Get him out of there. You get out of there. You get out. I'm so sorry. No, don't let him do that.
You guys come here trying to disrespect us. Are you kidding me?
I'm not disrespecting you.
You're all right, mate. No, we love you.
Hey, you take that trash talk and you get out of here. Hey, you get out of here. You take that trash talk. You get out. I won't have these guests disrespected like that, Mitch. You get out.
I never thought you were tough.
He was even telling the other guy, stop. You mean that guy's like, oh, take your trash talk out of here. Yeah, no one thinks you're tough either. Go ahead, Clump.
Well, I loved like LA Knight's there, like nodding his head, like you're doing well. You're doing really good.
Because the other thing is LA Knight's a babyface.
Yeah, he can't. Yeah.
That's why he's like, do you want to take this one? Was the most insider nod to, dude, I wish I could. Because they both know what happens in those situations, right? Where like, I mean, we could say we're past kayfabe and all that stuff, but there is a certain point of just absolute disrespect that you're showing somebody by asking them like that and the little dance. Like, come on, what are you gonna do? Oh my god! It's like, let's play, dude. Let's show everyone how what you do is stupid. Let's show everybody how what you do is fake and phony and dumb, and no one should watch or support you. And anybody could do what you do. I'll just do exactly what you do because anybody can do something that's stupid. And then Waller's all like, I've gotten a lot of fights over my life.
Right.
Not only am I okay taking any punches from you, but I bet I could stop them from coming in pretty quick.
I've come on this show and talked on my own show and said, I'm glad that like the make fun of wrestling era is over because everyone knows we're in on it and we enjoy it and we appreciate it. But then you see people like this and you go, well, I guess not everyone, and I love the fact that Grayson Waller stuck up for it because at the end of the day, like I said, like it's not, you go ahead, make fun of me for liking wrestling. Guess what? I know. And you know what else I know? Robert Downey Jr. never once wore a fucking Iron Man suit and flew. You know what I mean? Like he might have been in a model, but he wasn't flying one, never once, because that's not how that works. And I know how it works, and I'm okay with that. Same thing with wrestling. We as fans, them as performers, are more than fine with how this shit works. Don't take the piss out of it. Like it's just it's pointless.
Don't take the piss out of it, and it's also they're not doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like there's a ton of life sacrifices they've had to do. Grayson Waller went on this because it's probably one of the first times he's been back in Australia since he moved to the States. He can finally see his family because that's how much that thing means to him. to do this. He got out of Australia, which is so hard. Rhea's talked about it. Waller's talked about it, that there's a huge, lively, amazing wrestling scene in Australia, but it's just so hard to get in and out of there that nobody knows. So it's a bigger deal for them to get to America to do anything. And that's why they do the tryouts when they can and all that. But they've sacrificed so much. And I mean, if you've ever met a wrestler, you see they don't all walk the same like they did before. You know what I mean? Like there is a toll on their body. I mean, Roddy Piper said it. I'm not living till I'm 65. He died at 62. And the reason why? Well, because I'm a wrestler. And that's what we do to our bodies, is we shorten our life.
Well, there's enough media out there now that has taken a look at the world outside of it. And I'm not just talking about like, you know, like the really grody bad parts of it, you know, that come into any type of fame, but looking at specifically the amount of wear these guys get, and they don't have a players union. You know, there's not a lot there to take care of them when they're out of it, and they have to do that. I mean, if you watch Dark Side of the Ring, there's good, there's bad, but you see a lot of people and you see a lot of the effect that this life has had on them.
Yeah. It's so weird to me they're not part of SAG-AFTRA. Like, they do a live TV show. They should be part of SAG. It just doesn't make sense. There's got to be a way to do it. And excuse me, movies and TV shows, they make different rules all the time. Contracts tailored to what the performance is. There's got to be a way to give these guys, you know, benefits on the house and shit like that, 401k plans, and things like that. I mean, I know they very well taken care of when it comes to drug and alcohol abuse and even their surgeries from the ring. So I know they're very well taken care of. But at least for the, you know, I don't want to say spectacle, but for, you know, for what they do, they should have something.
Yeah,
they should. I think the other thing, like, if there's one thing I wish that they could bring in that I think would be immeasurably helpful to talent, would be a money management side of it. Because this is also for the vast minority of people. Like, very few people get to the very, very top and get, you know, these crazy paychecks. But even if it's for a short period of time, that could be, you know, one of the things that we hear people knock them is you pissed away all your money.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how much I fault somebody for, you know, losing it all when, you know, they came out of what if they came out of poverty and this is the only paycheck and now they got to help everyone else out because they got to help family. You know, or this is their big check and they enjoy it and they don't know how to enjoy it. They don't know how to manage it. They don't know how to negotiate their contract. They don't know how to negotiate rights for their image. And I don't fault them too much for a real world situation. I wish there was more support in the understanding of the finances of it all, because that's just crazy. And, you know, yeah.
No, absolutely. There should be a lot more help for these guys in different ways, and a lot of them are young, and they're on TV, and they have money in their bank account, and it's really easy to say, well, this will just keep going forever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these guys. I mean, look at Ric Flair. He's gone bankrupt like 4 times, you know, because the money's always coming in until suddenly it's not, and then you're like, well, but my lifestyle is a certain way now. So, but all that to also say that these fucking goofs on this talk show, I did like that. As soon as the guy. What I liked is that the production seems startled that they didn't want to just play. Because they, in their mind, was all like, well, we all know the deal now. We're not going to have like a John Stossel incident. We're way past that, right? And then they said, like, no, you're being incredibly disrespectful to your guests. And these are people who don't take kindly to being disrespected that way, because you're putting them in a spotlight and basically saying, like, own up or shut up, right? Like, a lot of people, not just wrestlers, get really defensive of their way of life, right? Like, if you put anybody on national TV and start saying what they do is meaningless and stupid and silly, and I could do that if I wanted to. I don't even got to go to school for it. I could just do it. People are going to start feeling a certain way, right? And you're talking about athletes. So, and if what you're saying to taunt them is, how about you punch me? Oh, fucking K.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right.
we can start there. That's fine, but it's just crazy to me that they were all of a sudden like, oh shit, we might actually have someone get punched out. And then they started playing John Cena's music.
Yeah. So stupid. I mean, you hear it again, like with comedians, right? Oh, well, tell us a joke. That's not how it works. Make me laugh. That's not how this works. I'm here promoting myself and what I do, so you can come see it, because what I do takes work, effort, all that shit. You're not gonna have an actor come on there and go, "Hey, can you just recite Macbeth for me?" Like it's just. Let's have a painter.
For the most part.
Yeah, let's have a painter come on and just give him crayons and go, "Hey, why don't you just show us what you do?" That's just not how it works.
Yeah, or you just sit there and say, "Look at this painting I did. Isn't that like just as good as what you did?" I just did it right now.
Yeah, it's just disrespectful, man, and it sucks for fans to have to watch our guys not be appreciated.
I think it'd be really cool. Like another way that he could have, like I think he handled it the best way. I think the only other way I'd like to see somebody handle it when one of these things happen is him go like, "Do you know how to fall? Do you know how to land? If I pick you up and toss you, do you know how to roll on your shoulder? No? You've never done that? You haven't done this for 10 years? Cool, because if I do this, you're gonna land wrong and you're gonna be in a wheelchair." Like, just explain it to him very calmly but very abruptly, like, this is a dance. This is two people doing this. I can do whatever I want with you. But if you don't know how to land it, you don't know how to handle it, you don't know how to deal with it, you're gonna be stupid levels of hurt.
Yeah.
And then have like a VHS of the mass transit incident and put that in like a tape.
That, or was it when Vince was, who was it that was suing? They sued somebody. I want to say it was the guy who got paralyzed off the was it Steiner or was it Genetti who like paralyzed a fucking guy? And in court they had British Bulldog go up and talk about how like, I can't just pick you up and body slam you right now. Like, this is a 2-person effort, because the idea was that like, hey, this person did this move and it crippled this person. That's their fault. And then the wrestlers and Bulldog were on there to say, no, it's up to you on the other side to be safe. Like, we do a motion and you do another motion, and that's how we both come out safe. If I do my part and you don't do your part, this is what happens. That guy didn't do his part.
Right.
Like, I did his part way off, right? So it was the idea of like, I can't just pick you up and body slam you, dude. You have to go up a certain way and you have to go down a certain way while I'm doing what I'm doing. But at the same time, I don't know this is the time and place for that to try and break that down. And I don't know. It was crazy, but it was cool. I like seeing Waller do that. I've heard people give Waller shit saying that he's not like, that he looks like scrawny and stuff. He doesn't to me. He looks like a big athletic guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't look jacked to the gills. He doesn't look like fucking Hammerstone. But no, I wouldn't. He looks like a big
also
guy.
That might be why he's had so much longevity in Australia moving up. Like,
probably.
Your guys that have had super long careers, they tend to have bodies that are, nobody's saying you're in bad shape, but if you're pure muscle mass with no body fat, you're going to get gassed, and your ability for your muscles to get torn is incredibly increased.
Yeah, that's true.
I used to say Randy Orton looks like a swimmer because he was just tall, long muscles, all that stuff. But in real life, everyone says he's fucking massive. Now he's, Daddy Orton. So, a little bit different. But no, I mean, it's so deceptive on TV. Nobody knows. And he's a hell of a fucking athlete. I hate it, man. I hate it. People pick it apart for no fucking reason, man.
Yeah. Dude, when I first met Xavier Woods, the first thing I thought was, oh my God, his arms are fucking bigger than my legs. Woods is huge. I mean, and you think about that because
he's short.
Yeah, I think I was slightly taller than him, but he looked fucking big, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I mean, people don't even think about it that way too, where they go, "Oh yeah, he's one of the littler guys." No, dude is fucking wide and strong. Like, yeah, these people they don't fucking
dense. They're dense. They're solid.
Oh yeah, that's true. He was dense as fuck. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of cool. Bishop had brought it up to me, and so I pulled it up. But yeah, and it was making me laugh that they played John Cena's music, because I think what they're trying to do is like just fucking cut the commercial or something, get us out of this.
Mm-hmm. This isn't going the way we thought.
Yeah. Oops. Anything else news-wise that you wanted to cover at all? Was there anything else that happened out there?
Yeah.
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, no, me neither. I was trying to think of something, but we said something nice to Kayla, and that was the big deal. And and we talked about Hulk Hogan saving people's lives. Let's talk
other people around Hulk Hogan saving people's lives.
Yeah, that's true. He's all like, "Look, I just made sure it was going good. I was basically the mouth of the South in this one."
Yeah, I was booking this, brother.
Dude, I also liked how confused LA Knight looked in that moment too. He's all like, "What? Like, you're gonna do this now?
This is where we're going?" Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to?
I'll let you field this one, buddy.
It was, you know what it was too. It was two sides of the same coin, where the news guys were being like, "Well, we're well past them actually hurting any of us," and then you had those guys like, "Well, we're well past them actually being stupid enough to ask us to fight."
Right.
Like, and then both of them were wrong, and so they all looked at each other like, "What the fuck are we doing? How did we all get into this mess?" Fuck. All right, let's give a quick cheers to Fans First Sports Force Network.
Fantastic at.
And you want to get paid.
Yeah. FFSN. FFSN. Yeah.
Man, if you keep getting it wrong like that, they're gonna start charging you.
Yeah, no, it's on my tab. Let's talk SmackDown, guys. SmackDown, I really liked. Let me see real quick. I'm gonna scroll through and see if there's anything I could see that was removed. Nothing from this thing, so I don't know. It was probably a backstage thing that got removed, but everything I'm seeing on this review is stuff I saw. So Hulu got all the good stuff in, baby. I want to know what you guys think of Nick Aldis at this juncture, because I hear more and more people talk about how he's absolutely fucking perfect and incredible in every way at this. And I've heard some people say things like, "Do you think we ever get to a place where he starts to wrestle?" And people are like, "I think we will, because he's just too good not to," this and that. Here's my thought on it. Everything I see him say and do feels like he's trying so hard to let him wrestle. He wants that. That's what he wants. I don't get the impression by anything in his presentation that they want that. They haven't given him music, because we've had GMs who had music before.
Mm-hmm.
No music, no name on the wall. You silently walk out there. I don't know if they've told him to tone down his suits, but they've toned down. I think he's doing just fine. Yeah. I don't think WWE has any interest in letting him wrestle in any way different than Robert Stone wrestles. But I also think that he's doing fine, and he desperately wants to be in the main event of WrestleMania all the time. Am I missing something here? Is he actually incredibly spectacular and needs to be wrestling also at the same time as doing this?
I don't think we need another authority figure wrestling unless there's a story for it that makes sense.
That's a good point.
I think he does his job well enough, and that's fine. You don't have to do more. Plus, let's be honest, the dude did a lot in NWA. He was a great champion. He held that belt for a long time. He's had a career.
Yep.
This is not a bad time for him to kind of ride into a different era. It's kind of like, do you want Nigel McGuinness to start wrestling again? I don't. Nigel McGuinness has had his time. I know there's a medical condition that precludes him from wrestling, but you get what I'm saying? Same with Adam Pearce. I would argue the same with Christopher Daniels. You've had your time. I think it's great for you to be in a different role.
Yeah. I mean, and also in the same vein, Nigel McGuinness would give anything to be back in that ring. This very moment. Yeah. You know it. When I met him during the WrestleMania week, I saw him a couple of times and talked to him a few times that weekend, and it was glaring how badly he wished he was wrestling and not doing any of the things he's doing. And it's a little sad to look into someone's eyes and realize that, that you are not currently, nor may you ever do the thing that you truly want to do again. And you did it. Like, you had it. You were right there. So I get it. But I think it's also a really good point just from the GM, from the on TV side, like Clump said. We've had GMs who were active wrestlers, and they don't always work out well to begin with. So to take one who's not and turn him into one for sake of his ability to be able to be one, if they didn't sign him as a wrestler, it wasn't because his last match was not very good. You know what I mean? It's because they didn't see in him that for his future. Does that make sense?
No, I agree. I think that nails it.
He was an active wrestler when he signed. They don't not know.
Yeah.
They're not just finding out. Bruce Pritchard was in TNA when Nick Aldis was their champion. He's fully fucking aware. You know what I mean? LA Knight was in NWA when Nick was the champion. It's not like nobody knows he can wrestle. They signed a guy for a purpose, fully fucking aware he can do other things. They don't want that. That's my thought. Bishop, go ahead.
So I saw a couple things, and where I agree with what people are saying about him doing perfect is the idea of a general manager role, right? He's dipping in and out. He's showing that he is more authoritative than the bloodline, right? I'm not disagreeing with how you feel about it. I'm letting you know that this is why they see it that way. Mm-hmm. So when I say Charlotte sucks and people go, well, she's a great athlete, I'm like, yeah, you're right. You know? So there's both can be true. Both can be true. So, but where I agree with you is that it's not coming off well. It's not positioning itself great. What I do like is happening is that it's going to get to this point where Roman Reigns is going to beat the shit out of him. And he'll end up having a match a la the Adam Pearce match that he had, right? Remember that one? That was awesome. So I don't see this. I don't see it lasting. He's doing a good job being a thorn in the side of the bloodline, but that's about it. He's only 37. And I say that in context that there's 40-year-olds, 40-plus-year-olds just absolutely balling out all over the roster. So,
Lashley's
yeah.
like a 45 or some shit.
Who? Oh, Lashley? Yeah. And, I mean, people want Brock Lesnar to come back, you know, and he's up there too, you know.
We were laughing last week when we were watching the main event of SmackDown, and it was Orton, AJ, and LA Knight, and we're like,
yeah,
this sponsored by Medicare. Like, fuck, this is a whole group of folk.
And there's heat there, and people want it. Yeah.
And it was,
they're all in their 40s.
Yeah. They're all well in their 40s, and they're all fucking killing it.
Yeah. So to say Nick Aldis age-wise is tapped out, that wouldn't be true, you know. I just think it's a charisma thing that has him, you know, where he is, which I don't understand why they would look at everything he does and go, he needs to have a microphone. So
that was the weirdest part to me. That was so weird. When they walked out, he's your GM. I was all like, what? Of all the things he can physically do, the one thing you want him to do is talk?
I'd rather him stand there with his shirt off and his dumb haircut and weak smile and just because he does that better than he does talk. I'm sorry. Like, it just doesn't work.
If they had him as a wrestler with a manager, they said, we're going to bring you in, but we're bringing in fucking somebody to talk for you. Even if I thought they might bring him in as a coach for the PC because he's very fundamentally sound and everything.
Yeah. He's great in the ring. That's another, again, you've had your time, buddy. Here's an option.
Yep. I think that you're right, though. I think it's a charisma thing, and I do think that he's doing just fine. I also think that part of the reason people think he's doing so well is because he has an accent. Honest to God, people respond weird to accents, and they're like, he just sounds so authoritative. I'm like, no, he fucking has a British accent. There's a difference. Go ahead.
Do you think his ego is saying that, you know, I was champion for 3 years, so it has to be like he carries that ego with him that he was champion for that long, so that's what his gravitas is that he walks around like a 3-year champion when it was, you know, it was NWA. Yeah, no offense to those guys.
It was also during COVID, and so over 300 of those days were no matches because it was just COVID era. So like his record-breaking NWA's reign was supposed to stop. Everyone has said it who was a part of that company at the time. Yeah, he was scheduled to lose that title. He wasn't supposed to hold it for 900 days. But COVID happened, and we all didn't know what the fuck to do anymore. It's the same reason I don't like, and I'm happy that she doesn't, but Kaylee Ray, who became Alba Fire, was like, I'm the longest reigning NXT UK champion. Like, you didn't have a match for a year and a half.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't, and we couldn't fly you in. It was a fucking issue. Like, quit pretending you had a 2-year reign. You had 6 months worth of matches. It's the
But she's really good at
business. She's very good.
Yeah,
She's
she's
better
very
at
good.
wielding a bat and setting shit on fire, if I'm honest. I like her more now that she's a pyro.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't
And
think
the hot factor goes up a little bit too.
Yeah, plus she speaks Irish, so you know she's wicked.
Yeah.
You know? Name an Irish babyface apart from Becky. They're all heels.
Fit Finlay.
Fit Finlay was a heel, dude.
Kevin Patrick.
KP. You're gonna go with KP.
Hornswoggle.
You know how hard it was for Sheamus to become a babyface? It was so hard, and it's been like back and forth because I'm just saying that Irish accent makes. And you know what? KP is the heel on that table. No one likes him. They keep talking about how they don't like him
because they're racist.
They're racist.
They don't like Irish people.
They don't.
The dude on the Lucky Charms box. He's a baby face.
Yeah, he's a face.
He's a baby face.
Yeah, Lucky Charms was a baby face.
Swoggle.
Man. Swoggle a baby face?
Yeah.
I'll only give you half credit for that, but I won't tell you why.
My favorite part about Swoggle, because I never really watched him wrestle, when he talks about wrestling, that dude fucking loves it. Every interview he does is fucking amazing. He has some of the best interviews out there. So good.
I'd love him to have a podcast because he's genuinely funny and like interesting. I'm like, this dude gets it.
True. That's a good point. Yeah, it's the people who ended up in wrestling that you kind of go like, that you kind of like the Swoggles, James Ellsworth. He never talked anything less than just the greatest time of his whole fucking life was like the 2 years he was in WWE. I mean, I was lucky enough to be a part of Pro Wrestling Spotlight with John Arezzi and meet some people through there. And one of the people I was able to kind of befriend here was Broadway Sonny Blaze, where if you go back in the early 90s, was a jobber on TV. And he was around for a bunch of stuff. And he talks about it so glowingly, like I was given every opportunity. He's told me over and over again, Marsh, they gave me everything. You know, Paul Heyman did everything for me when I went to ECW, but I froze. He's like, it just wasn't, I couldn't live up to the opportunities that were given to me. He goes, it's no one's fault but my own. He goes, but I had it all. And he wrestled Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. Undertaker's first match or second match with Sonny Blaze. It's just really cool to hear the people who like most might shit on to be all like, but it was a great fucking time of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everything. There's a skit out there of Vince and Bobby Heenan where I forget what they're going on about, but Bobby gets like scared of Vince and runs away and hides behind somebody in the live studio audience. That was also Sonny. He was around so much they just used him for all sorts of stuff, and Vince and Bobby loved him. And like he said that Vince was never anything but like nice to him. Like, is there anything I could do for you? Do you need more time in the ring? They gave him a key to the warehouse where they had a ring so he could go there and train whenever he wanted. Wow. So sometimes it's like the opportunity's there. But at the same time, I've heard people from that era try to talk about him as some piece of shit jobber that never did anything. You're like, that's not how he remembers his life. You know what I mean? Like, he loved it. And he's a lot more positive about his lack of Hall of Fame career than your actual Hall of Fame career. You big dumb idiot. Because there's some people who have like fragile egos even though they've done it all. You know? I don't know. I'm going to have another drink.
Cheers.
So shout out to Broadway Sonny Blaze. Let's see. So, oh yeah. And at the beginning of it, so Nick Aldis did the thing and he's all like, oh, it's going to be the Bloodline versus the other guys and Roman Reigns is going to be here. I didn't love that they said that, knowing full well that Roman wouldn't be there. But they did, within a couple beats, correct him and say he's not here. Because you could see the audience get lively. They're like, oh my God, we're getting Roman.
Mm-hmm.
And then Paul Heyman was like, we don't have Roman. And then you could see them go like, what the fuck? Like,
oh, shit.
That. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe Nick Aldis shouldn't be talking.
So that's one thing I want to just jump on real quick. When they say the Roman Reigns act is stale, this is where they're wrong, right? You're not going to make him the bad guy in this situation. People want to see what it is, and they do want to see it come to an end. But what they tried to do is make Roman Reigns the bad guy for not being in the match. That's what all this objective was there, right? Like, oh, you're going to boo Roman Reigns for not being here. No, we're booing you for saying he was going to be here when you knew he wasn't going to be here. You know what I mean? So instead of putting the heat on Roman, it actually goes to Aldis. And that's why the Reigns thing isn't as stale as people think.
Fucking hate you.
Because I'm right.
Fucking hate you, dude. I was going to talk some shit on Roman.
Can't do it. It's Aldis' fault.
And you just said all that shit right now. You're such a piece of shit. You're such a piece of shit.
One of us needs to get a fart gun for us to shoot at you. Yeah.
I do think, well, I mean, so yeah, that's the thing. Roman is still bigger than ever, but the bloodline storyline is flat.
Yes.
Yeah. Right? Like, Bloodline hasn't done anything exciting since Sammy. If you ask anyone their favorite stuff with the Bloodline, it's
Sammy.
A bunch of different things that involve Sammy. What have they done good since Sammy left? What's the best rivalry they've had since Sammy? What's the most compelling thing they've done since Sammy? I honest to God couldn't tell you a single rivalry they even had since Sammy left.
It was just Jay.
Jay's been doing cool shit.
No, like that's what happened afterwards was the build to Jay going solo.
Oh, yeah.
From Mania to SummerSlam, which was phenomenal because it encapsulated the entire 3 years of Jay going through the ups and downs with Roman. So like that does get a little bit of credit too, but you're right. Like it came down from a hell of a high peak to still some really good shit. But since SummerSlam, it's just been a,
I'd say since Mania.
Especially story-wise.
Since Mania, really, I haven't felt the same way about the Bloodline at all. Because, we got through the Jay story, and that was stuff you go, okay, well, I guess we're going to do this now. Because that was a long time coming. But the exciting stuff that was the Sammy stuff. So I do think that it's been pretty flat in a way that makes you go, I don't know about this. I don't know if Roman should really be holding the championship. But you're still right in the idea that, like, Roman is still super important and super over. And the crowd was excited about the idea that Roman was going to be there, and then mad at Nick for saying that he would when he wouldn't. Like, Roman got no heat on this one. Like, Roman's not done. But the Bloodline needs something drastically, or it needs to disband.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know I don't know the point of the Bloodline at this point. This feels like before Sammy got in, where it was kind of like, what's the point of this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and to me, the Bloodline super overstayed its welcome, but I mean, we'll see what happens with it all. They did beat the shit out of Cameron Grimes at the beginning.
Who needed
before
that?
the match. Yeah. What do you think is going to happen with Cameron Grimes? He's the
I
gut,
don't.
right? You don't?
I don't think it's going well for him.
I heard a shoot interview with him where he explained the whole Dogecoin crypto thing that he went through because he got on the beginning end of the GameStop stuff. He's like, dude, I made millions and I don't need the money. So he's actually wrestling out of passion now. So I would imagine that that's just where he's at. He's like, fuck it, I'm not on TV. Fuck it, we're wrestling for passion. We're having fun. I do think though he's way more entertaining than what we have going on. So that's a bummer. I just don't think
great.
I don't think there is right now for Cameron Grimes. Like what is? No, there just isn't.
Yep. All right. Well, let's keep moving a little bit. We did end up with Angel and Humberto against LWO. So this was Delgado del Fantasma 2.0 against LWO 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 2.5, 2.8,
1.5,
9.1.
Is that it?
X. LWO X 0.2. No.
The more you keep saying it, sounds like a kid Elon Musk had.
Like, what?
Elon Musk named his kid an equation, remember?
Did he?
Yeah, it didn't go.
What did it equal?
A dipshit.
It was a really cool match. I liked having Santos on commentation.
Well, define commentation. Define commentation for me.
You know, the commentatory. Yeah.
I really enjoyed letting that one breathe. That was that made me feel good.
Made me feel good. But outside of that, where are we at with it? You know what I mean? It was a good tag match. Do you think we get to a point where they merge, or do you think we get to a point where we just have LWO and Delgado just floating around? Or
I think they float around because it doesn't make sense for them to merge again unless you kick Rey Mysterio out. Because the big thing was their blow up and feud.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, arguably, I like Santos and Legado del Fantasma. I think it's a fantastic faction. It was great in NXT. I think it's great now. I think it's a good born in fight. But it's also not getting the screen time aside from them fighting to really have a story behind it.
Yeah.
It reads like it's two factions fighting, but why?
And we fill in a lot of the blanks from what we know from before. You know, there's no mention of the Legado theme being as old as it is, right? Like you just said, Clump, Legado on TV is amazing, but this is the first time he's had new members, you know, and we know the story because we watched it in NXT. It being on the main roster, people don't know that, and they barely have the time to tell a story. And I'm gonna do something I usually don't do, which is take something that I'll project from off screen instead of it being on screen. I think the whole Rey Mysterio injury and maybe even Carlito not being quite healthy, they don't know what to do. And they're just giving us exposure to these guys. But this might be the one that they should take off TV and put something else in there until they can tell the story the right way. Because they were definitely building it to it, right? Getting Rey off the title with Santos and the whole thing. But with the Rey injury, it's like, well, they can't finish the story in its proper telling. So we're just kind of watching the fluff happen. And, you know, we talked about it last week on episode 1. Legado or LWO going down to NXT, part of the Dusty Cup, having awesome tag matches. Just stay there. Let it breathe down there. Let Legado build away from LWO on the main roster, and then we can see how heavy these guys are until they come back together. But they even brought Carlito back out on Friday to, you know, now do the 3-on-3 thing. And I don't know. I think it's lacking a lot of juice if you're not familiar with what's going on.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I like that it's happening because, like you said, kind of like the off-screen thing. You go, well, here's a bunch of guys who are not getting an opportunity that are now getting a chance, and you know that it has to do with who's involved, right? Who do you guys want to work with and all that business. I always feel a little bit bad when it feels like we're doing a little bit of hey, let's put all the Asians together. Let's put all the Mexicans together.
Yeah. Latinos. There's a lot of not Mexicans there.
That's a good point. Just anyone Latin to them is the same.
Yeah.
But
the Spanish speakers.
Yeah. Do they speak Spanish? Samesies. But at the same time, go ahead.
No, I was just say I know many Mexicans and Puerto Ricans, and it's always that inside talk. I'm gonna bring the inside talk outside, but I've been part of that conversation. It's like, wait, you're Mexican, you're Puerto Rican. Wait, what do you guys speak? Spanish, you know? So okay, I get it now.
It's just, I mean, they all do work really well together, so it's kind of hard not to say that they shouldn't be doing it. And I do think it's cool because when you have that program going on, you're getting more than just. I mean, they talked about how Dragon Lee and Santos may be the big future of Lucha Libre, and I think this is it right here. You know what I mean? Like this is why that is. Rey Mysterio and Eddie were getting out there with every fucking buddy. We know La Parka because of Rey and Eddie and Conan. You know what I mean? Like those guys were leading the whole. Well, you got to bring my buddy. You got to bring my buddy. This is the same thing where they work so well together. I can't be mad at it, but I do wonder where you end up with once you hit the end of the line, the end of the story, right? Once everyone gets the retribution, do they just disappear? And that's what I'm afraid of, and I hope not. So it was great. It was a great match, though. I don't remember what order this happened in, so I think this has happened right about here. We had the Street Profits come out with Bobby Lashley and talk some shit and get a little video from Karrion Kross. Did you guys notice a little something different about Street Profits?
Took the suits off.
They didn't take the suits off. They were wearing suits. If they took the suits off, they'd be back in fucking basketball shorts and sneakers. They took their jacket off. The difference was they stopped fucking off. They went out there like they were serious, and it felt like something was happening. Montez wasn't doing his fucking little lip curl. He wasn't trying to dance. The one thing he did do was make sure that he was like in front of everyone, so the camera and spotlight was always on him. But he didn't do anything fucking silly, and he let Bobby talk. Like, this was the best that they've looked because they didn't look like clowns who were joking.
Well, and that's what they need if we're going to make them a reasonable heel team.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, they listen.
Yeah. They listen to us.
They listen to us.
Yeah, they're big fans.
Cheers.
So Dawkins told me. But I did like it. What did you think of the video, the Karrion Kross video, and all the stuff going on with them?
It's better.
You've had a particularly hard time with Kross.
Yeah, it's better. A better presentation. Look, again, it's when you tell us your story, it's up to us to interpret it. It's up to us to feel it and all that stuff. So the video package was better. Okay. I still have to see that translate. They have a name, so that's cool. Let's see how it translates. There's the fact that Kross was the speaker for it as opposed to Ellering or Scarlett, I think might be a bit of an issue. But we have a unification of who this final testament is, and we'll see. So at least we know something better now. Just got to see the next step.
I agree with that. I'm liking it so far. We'll see. I don't know where we end up with just because of the idea that I feel like that Bobby and Street Profits are the baby faces here. But to be honest, I'd really like to see Kross's faction go over here.
I would too.
I think it'd be really nice for them. I think that they need more rebuilding than Street Profits or Bobby Lashley.
100%. Good.
No, it's fine. Go ahead. I'll complete my thought first.
I think, like the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley are all defined characters. They're trying to change them, but the crowd's behind them for better or for worse. Kross never got the chance. Like in NXT, he was hell over, but he never got the chance on the main roster. And it's really cool having him and Scarlett paired with Ellering and that formation. But they need a chance.
Yeah.
Because it's really fun to have such a big team get decimated for nothing.
Yeah, I don't think they have to be mutually exclusive. The baby faces can lose here. And that would help show the power of this new faction. I don't have a problem with that at all. So and honestly, if you babyface these guys with attitude, you're gonna get the most organic response you can from Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. We talked about it before on episode 1. Are the Street Profits too babyface like to be booed? Well, if their natural charisma leads them to be cheered, but you can fix this attitude thing, we might have something here.
Yeah. I agree.
But I agree with you guys too. I mean, that the Kross and AOP should win this whole thing.
They should, and I think I agree with you too. Where Ellering not talking at all seemed really fucking weird. They had Scarlett talking a lot more than she has in the past, which was good. I thought they were again getting a little too clever with the editing of the videos. It was a little hard to understand what he was saying at times because they were trying to do this weird stuff. But I'd really like to see them beat Bobby and Street Profits here because I think that they can come out on top easy. I saw somebody, we talked about that last week, where they're trying to say that Lashley was like kind of a anti-charisma, that people weren't reacting the way that they thought they should to Street Profits, but I felt like Lashley's getting the biggest responses anyways, so it's kind of the opposite in my mind. And before we go on to the matches, let's just do the next match. Bianca versus Bayley. God, I fucking loved the story here. they are telling this. It only sort of involves the belt, right? The title's only involved by happenstance of being part of the group. But the real story here is Bayley's interaction with Damage Control. We just talked about it like 2 weeks ago, how it seemed like they were back on track and they were kind of revitalizing it and giving it another breath of life. But here we are now, and I go, well, maybe we're getting to we're definitely getting to the point where how brilliantly executed was it? Bayley throwing them out, getting the ref, looking over and being like, guys, what are you? And the ref's like, what? And she's like, nothing, And
Right.
she kind of goes over there and she like looks over her shoulder at the ref and she kind of like turns her back a little bit and she goes like, guys, next time, like
do the thing.
Yeah, do the thing. And they're all like, well, what? Like the fact that they're actively not helping her was really well done. And I felt like Bayley was really good here, emoting and pantomiming along the way and trying to constantly setting them up to help her, and they just didn't. Do you think we're really going to Bayley versus Io at Mania?
I think so. I think it makes the most sense, and I think it'd be the best match. I think it's got a good built-in story. The only other way I see it would be Bayley versus Asuka, because I feel like even though Io's got the belts, like as a Damage Control story, I feel like the crux of the change was Asuka. So it kind of feels like you're off your target.
Things didn't quite get out of control until Asuka came in the mix.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can see that. I just everything in my head I don't like. I agree with you. I thought the match was perfect. I thought it was awesome. They work great together. We've seen that in the past. My issue with the storytelling is, how do you get Bayley out and have some type of positivity whatsoever? Like, if it lines up to Io Bayley at WrestleMania, it's not going to end well for Bayley. Bayley can't win that, because if she does, then it does ruin all of Damage Control. It doesn't leave them better. Like, Jay losing to Roman at SummerSlam still put Jay on the next tier, right? It did it for Sammy. It did it for everyone but Drew. But Damage Control has had so many ups and downs. Without Bayley, they need to be dominant. They would need to wash Bayley away. So I think you just got to get her out. And I don't think Io at Mania necessarily has to happen.
That's kind of my thought too, is I don't know where there's a win here. Like, it feels like, yes, they could have a great match. I don't know that it's the kind of match that we've all been waiting for it. But are we all dying for it? And does everyone come out on top? So,
well, and I think her as the actual faction leader, getting Io to the title, getting the Kabuki Warriors to the tag titles, actually feels so much better. And I think that's why going this particular route now, it's like, well, the Kabuki Warriors didn't get their chance, and it's now seems too soon based off the promo that kind of turned everything around.
What the fuck is going on? What am I hearing?
The kitty cat.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
This thing won't shut up.
There it is.
Yeah.
So does your cat watch Bayley, or?
Cat's a Bayley fan. Cat's a Bayley mark.
Good. TP Poker coming through. TP Poker. Cheers to TP Poker. He likes Paul Ellering and he likes Bayley.
Mm-hmm.
Wise.
That's why we keep letting them back in. Let me see. I feel like there was something else going on in that match, but I don't think that there's as much to break down about it, because I think it was just so well executed, if I'm honest.
Well, that was the whole point, right? The whole reason for the match was so the Damage Control could look at Bayley like, what are we gonna do, man? The ref was right there.
Yep. That was all well done, and Bianca was perfect in this, and she did a really good job of constantly looking over at them, but also kind of like, okay, Let's see. Yeah. Carmelo Hayes versus Austin Theory. That just had a rough ending. They landed on their heads.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was just scary. I don't think we've heard anything. We haven't heard an update, so I'm assuming they both just got their bell rung and they're probably okay. But that was fucking scary.
Yeah, it looked like Austin Theory caught the brunt of that one.
Yeah, he hit his head on it.
If I'm not mistaken, because I didn't get a chance to watch NXT, but I thought Trick and Melo had a match last night. So I believe Melo's back to wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Melo was okay. I think Theory was the one I wasn't sure about.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, and then Melo and Trick had the tag match. So you're right. Yeah. They were working awesome together, but it's also young dudes who can do anything going out there. And fucking Theory's so jacked, dude. The way they have that light on him was fucking ridiculous. I made producer lady leave. You know it. We're watching. He's got his arms up, the light on. She's like, Jesus Christ. I was like, enough.
Fast forward.
Yeah. She was like, I didn't know men could have so many muscles. It's like, fuck. She goes, you're lumpy in a way different way, is what she said.
Just a reminder, you have all those muscles too. You have the same ones. They just don't look
I own
like
the same muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You literally have the same ones. There's no muscle he has that you don't. They just don't look the same.
Yeah. They're just different, you know?
Yeah. Excuse me for being different. Sorry.
Yeah. So I put my lumps other places, whatever.
Yeah. I like to protect mine with fat. It's cool.
Yeah. What?
Body shaming.
I know, it's ridiculous. I was like, get out of here. Don't watch this. I'll call you back when Ricochet comes back. They did the video. Butch and Taylor Bate.
Yes.
Tyler Bate? Mr. Bate. I call him Mr. Bate.
Of course you do.
Mr. Bates.
Mr. Bate. Yeah. It's not quite like Mr. Bean, but I can see how you get there. Remember I said 2 weeks ago, was it? Are we really close to just going back to Pete Dunne? This felt like we're really close to getting back to Pete Dunne, right?
Which I like Pete Dunne more than Butch.
Yeah, sure. I don't have a problem with that.
It's been a weird name for me.
Well, and it's crazy too because it's one of those changes that happened so long ago, and most of them, 99% of them, we stick with. We stick with the change, and it's okay. But I can't even talk to my 9-year-old like I say Pete Dunne all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But also part of it is I showed him Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate from Chicago, and he's like, "Dad, I need more Pete Dunne matches." So he can't even go Butch. He's like, "Dad, I like Pete Dunne way more than Butch." I said, "I know, a lot of people do. A lot of people do." I think it's there. I mean, that was the cliffhanger to the promo, right? Like, I don't even know who I am anymore. Oh.
Yeah.
But here's a question: do we get "Prove Me Wrong" Pete back?
Prove me wrong. Depends on if someone proves him wrong. Thing is he going to prove wrong Mr. Bate? Prove me wrong. Is prove me wrong too close to CM Punk's tell me when I'm lying? Tell me when I'm lying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where's the lie? You know?
Tell me when I'm telling lies. Yeah. As soon as you open your mouth.
So is Marv just CM Punk? Because it's the same accent.
Yes. Marv and CM Punk are very similar. Main event, though, Randy Orton, LA Knight, and AJ Styles against Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa. This was just a really good match. It just was what it was. And then they beat the absolute snot out of Solo, which I thought was crazy. We did a lot to build up Solo like a fucking tank. He thumbed Cena so hard. Cena hasn't even come back. Cena came back and his throat was all fucked up from being thumbed so hard. He talked all weird. And then now we just fucking triple team skied up Solo all over the fucking table.
Prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong. Like, it just seemed a bit much. They Mr. Baited all over him.
Yeah.
It just seemed like a bit much. The Viper spewing venom, spurting it. You know? It seemed a bit much.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I mean, but I don't know. I guess they had to do something, right? It just seemed like a lot for. I felt like that's why they had Jimmy there, was to take all the fucking hits so Solo would stay strong. So they would protect
Right.
Solo, but they really just were like, no, fuck Solo too. How
No,
about
fuck that tonight. We're doing this differently. I mean, maybe that's part of building. Maybe they're going to build like a piece by piece split of the bloodline, where now Solo's like, no.
Solo's like, here's
Collateral
the deal.
damage.
I'm not fucking doing it.
I'm out.
Yeah. Solo just looks at me and goes, that doesn't work for me, bro. They're like, what the fuck? You just got here.
Yeah,
It's a good Hulk Hogan impression. Yeah.
I think this is one of those, like you said, the bloodline stale, right? Because even at the end of SmackDown, a show that was pretty hot the whole time, I felt deflated when it was over. I was like, oh, okay, that's it. I guess we have no conclusion here except for the fact that the three guys who had 3 beat the guys that had 2, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So it seemed a little weird, but you know, it was a good show. Yeah. All right. I'm going to do a quick cheers to Fans First Sports Network, FFSN.
Cheers.
It's the same forward to
3
backward.
FS.
Yep. Let's talk Raw. Let's get a little bit into Raw. Let's get Raw with it. Cody Rhodes comes out
again
because what?
I love Cody. I love Cody a lot. I'm getting real tired of, like, it feels like AEW. The thing I got tired of, like, I don't need a week to week you opening the show, suit on, fancy pants ass promo. Sometimes I want to see you wrestle.
Yeah, he's a weird one. Just his promos kind of inch you along, but they don't make leaps. And his matches similarly seem like a time killer, right? Like we put him in a program against Ludwig Kaiser for why? So we can have a couple matches on TV. So Clump doesn't get mad. But does it mean anything? He has a program with Shinsuke, but for why? So Clump doesn't get mad.
Fair.
You know what I mean? That's what I mean. So it's like a weird mixed bag. Like I don't say that in a bad way. I'm not saying like you're wrong or anything. I'm saying you're absolutely right. The problem is that because he's got this finish my story over arc, and he just kind of keeps saying his story, but he's really stepped away of saying what that fucking means to him, right? Because now we have this online debate. What's Cody finishing the story look like? Does it mean he has to beat Roman at WrestleMania in the main event and win the title there? Does that mean finish the story? Because there's a lot of people who think that that's exactly the story and that's the only story. And if he doesn't do that, then he's a failure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other people have pointed out, because here's the other deal is I mean, you don't have to have him win the title at Mania in my mind. We talked about it here a couple weeks ago. I believe it was episode 1. What if he won the title in Madison Square Garden in any given match? I don't know. Maybe it's a SummerSlam. Maybe they do a Survivor Series. Maybe they do a fucking Halloween Havoc at Madison Square Garden. Maybe they do something that's specifically tied into Dusty that way. And that's finishing the story, is winning the title in the building they took it away from his pappy at. Right? Is it winning Roman's title? Is it winning Seth's title? I think he's pretty much said that the Seth title is not really on his mind. That it's the other one, you know? So I think that instead of just constantly saying I need to finish my story and I'm trying to finish my story, and it looks like we have the same kind of story with Punk, who wants to win the Rumble and go to Mania. Punk literally only wants to go to WrestleMania. That's it. That's all he's ever wanted, ever, and everyone wants him to have it, and he deserves it.
He just wants to be the last match. That's it.
That's it.
That's
all he wants.
Yeah.
Yep. He just wants to have the last match of WrestleMania one time ever. And I say, fuck you, dude. Not only did you not earn it then, you haven't earned it now. But what's Cody's story? I do think that adding Drew into here, was this not another banger by Drew?
Something changed. Something changed.
Something clicked with him.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I think he became a drinking buddy. I think he's heard what I've been saying. I love you, Drew.
The fuck
he's
did I just walk into?
He's my favorite number 2.
I was gonna say, this might be the second time you've ever talked about him without using the fart gun.
Yeah.
He's my favorite number 2. Roman said the same thing. So
Prove him wrong.
Prove me wrong.
I think something clicked in Drew, and even again, I've begged it of Cody. I get it, you have a story, but it's not mine or the one you're even telling on TV. You have this personal goal that means something to you because of your dad. Great. Happy for you. Your dad was dope too. But why should I care? And then when an obstacle it gets put in his way, like Drew, like you said, Drew could have said to CM Punk the same way, gone, came back, I did it better, you suck, all this stuff. The perfect connector right there with Cody and Drew having that match before Drew came back to WWE. Like, now I give a shit because Cody just told me why I should give a shit, because the last time I wrestled Drew McIntyre, I beat you. That's enough to care.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do think that they both expected more of a reaction out of them talking about their old tag team run. And the crowd was really just kind of like hands under their asses. It also was cold, so they might have been just keeping their hands warm by farting on them. That's what I do.
It was inside.
It was cold in there.
Dude, there's no way
like
it's not
Seth came
fucking
out and
cold
you
in
could see
there.
his breath, and you're like, okay, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, Seth had his fucking breath coming out. His voice.
He's a
you could see his
dragon.
voice. He's a dragon, dude.
He's a dragon. He breathes fire. He spits hot fire.
Here's the other thing.
I'm all quit.
Depending on, yeah, he's a bad dragon.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Depending on the venue, some of them are basketball arenas. The one they play when they come through Tucson is an ice hockey arena. It's actually fucking freezing in that building. There's literally ice under there. They just put black plates over the ice and put the ring on top of it. They don't do anything else. It's ice just being frozen in this room. And if it's already negative 30 outside, it's not getting warmer on the inside, So it was cold.
Like
They were
my
probably
ex.
farting on their hands. Except what?
It's like my ex.
Yes, like your ex. Cold to the core.
Yeah.
What a core. So as they're farting on their hands, Drew and Cody going back so good. I actually like this a lot. I felt like it provided a lot of something to gravitate to for Drew. He's coming through authentic all of a sudden after all this time. So good on Drew. I do think Cody could stand to say a little bit more specifically, this is what I want and why, and not just have us all going like, but what does it mean? DIY beating the shit out of Dirty Dom and JD McDonough. Did you guys like that? Did you love it?
I like that DIY are getting over. I hazard to say it. However, I find that I've said this before. I find the constant mean stuff they do, like the clap, 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 pat each other in the back. Like, I know the beats, but I find them personally really fucking annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's other things to do or better things to do. Like, make that special every once in a while. You don't have to do it every fucking match.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of a lot of what they're doing here. I didn't like them winning here. I don't know. This is another thing. And I heard a podcast the other day that went on for about 10 minutes about how the addition of R-Truth brought new life to the Judgment Day and hasn't taken away a single thing from it. And I was like, you are wishing out loud. Because the fact that they're coming in here, I mean, I know you're having Dom and JD lose to DIY, but you're telling me half your fucking faction's jobbers? You know what I mean? Like, the thing about Dom that made him so fucking hateable was he was winning. With or without people's help, he was winning. So fuck that guy. Plus he wins. Fuck him again.
Yep.
Now he's out there losing, and you go, oh yeah, this is what Dom should be doing, is losing.
Yeah, because now Dom can't brag.
Yes.
He has no reason to boast, and then he can easily fall back into, the go away heat syndrome, where we're not actually building the character anymore. And I mean, look, at least they gave us context for DIY, right? They talk about him incessantly on commentary. Then we get some type of video package too to show that they, wrestle together. But I mean, you nailed it on episode 1. Johnny doing all the mannerisms and everything, it just eats away at what could be a really physical, technical tag team, and we just don't get that. We get the goofy stuff too much, like you said, Clump. Like that's a Ciampa thing, by the way. The clapping and the pat on the back, it's not a deal. And every time Johnny sits up there to be a part of it, he goofs. I don't like it. Yeah, they quit with the goof.
Yep, I didn't like it. Do you think this means that they're going to give DIY the championship? Because I do. I feel like that we're going to go to where they're going to get half the titles off of them because they're going to do something, and then they're going to be running around, and it's going to be B team, except less entertaining. It's going to be B team about how like Hulu would cut them out of the edit, where you go, oh, the tag champions are never on Hulu anymore. I don't know who's the tag champ for a year and a half because it's just them doing shitty matches an hour and a half in.
I mean, they did B team with better music.
They had way better music.
DIY's got better music to me than B team.
You think DIY's got better music?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Even when I've hated Johnny and DIY more than anything in the world, I've been okay with the music.
I don't know, man. Like, again, if they win the titles, if they win the titles and the wrestling stays the same, and the charisma stays the same, I'm good. I don't need any of it. I need, again, one of my favorite tag teams of this new generation was American Alpha, right? Who was more over the top than those two fucking guys, right? But their wrestling was a deviation from how enthusiastic they were. And they also wrestled in a way that you're like, holy shit, they fucking wrestle. Yeah. For these guys, every time Ciampa does that, Johnny comes in and does this, Shawn Michaels impersonation and, second-rate Adam Cole impersonation, and it just doesn't look good. And like Marsh says, ever since Marsh pointed it out, watch how scripted his shit is. You just see it beat, 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 beat.
Yeah.
And I was watching last year's Royal Rumble the other day, and that's all Johnny did was Johnny be in the spot. When Sheamus was doing the 10 beats of the Bowery over the rope, Johnny's just sitting on the side going, yeah. And I'm like, what are you doing? It doesn't help. It's weird.
It's crazy and it's frustrating, and that's why I don't like him. Is he can't be natural. He's always, look, the TV's on me, camera's on me, look at me, make sure you're always moving.
Yeah,
he's trying way too hard, and it's really, daddy, look at me, watch me.
Yeah, okay. He's like a Make-A-Wish kid that they like let in the ring, but scrawnier.
I don't know what they see in him, dude. I really don't know what he's bringing. So I'm a little frustrated by the idea that this may very well be the beginning of where they have a title run that everyone cheers when they lose to the bad guys. Because that's just it, is they're still not over. Like at the beginning, you could see Johnny even like trying to milk the crowd for cheers and trying to really go, soak it in when you had 12 guys chanting Johnny Wrestling. And you're just like, dude, it's not going.
Whatever. Yeah.
Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae against Chelsea Green and Piper Niven was cut from my Hulu feed. So if you saw it and had anything to say about it, Piper's dope. Chelsea's been good.
Piper's dope. They got the L to Indy and Candice. I think Indy and Candice are okay. Like they're a decent pairing. I like them. I like Indy a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like Candice a lot, but I don't know. I don't want them reattached to Johnny again.
Yeah, the one thing that we noticed watching was they haven't wrestled together in a long time. They kept missing like the timing of how they're doing their moves. Candice did this moonsault off the second rope onto Chelsea Green, who was being held on the middle rope perpendicular by Indy. So it was like a moonsault splash. And the timing, the depth that she got on the moonsault, like get it. It's a cool move, but like pull this stuff out when you're ready, not because you have the opportunity. And stuff like that is where a lot of these people who don't get chances to be on TV all the time are like, oh, well, we got a shot. Let's do everything. Well, how about you do the little things perfect and then build to the next one? You know, we saw that with Mia Yim in the match with Io, right? Like, it looked like they tried to do a lot because they had their opportunity, but if they slowed it down and were perfect at what they did, we might be looking to want another match. And I just didn't see that out of Candice and Indy because I like them together too. I mean, they you know, you got the tall chick, the short chick. It works in all tag teams, right? But they need some chemistry, but they got the win. So let's see what happens now. I think it's also a, you know, take Chelsea away from Piper situation happening. I think they're going to do a little split up there.
Yeah, I think they're going to split them.
Yeah.
Xavier Woods came out and got all in the face of Ludwig and Gunther. I liked this segment. Go ahead.
I like serious Xavier Woods. I was really happy with this. I liked how the match went. I like that nobody looked weak. Like Xavier looked like a badass all the way through. Disqualification finish, but I thought it was a good match. He got a lot of offense in, and you know, we've seen silly New Day for a long time. It's cool to see them kind of step up and be, or not step up. It's for them to show that they can be, you know, serious and stuff.
Yeah, those guys, as funny as they are, collectively, all three of them, and as jovial as they can be, when they turn on that serious thing,
they can tell stories.
They fucking get me. They rope me in, and it's. I think that as much as I go like, oh, they're being goofy and it's sometimes hard to buy into this and that. I think it's part of their storytelling mechanism. Is if they're this way all the time, then when they are serious, it feels more serious, right? If you're jovial because you're at work, right? Like they're always having a good time and being funny. What they're doing kind of reminds me of Heath Slater's, like it was his 9-to-5 job. Yeah. I got kids. I got to work. They come off that way where it's all like, look, we're all here just to work, man. Like we're here to compete. This is our job. This is what we do. We fight and we get more money if we win and we get less money if we lose. They come off kind of legitimate that way, right? Like we're just goofing, you know, whatever. But when the match starts, they do their stuff.
Sometimes we're doing this.
We're doing this. And then when something goes wrong or awry or this guy injured your buddy, it's no, fuck you, dude. We're here to work and you just fucking hurt us. You know what I mean? Like, and it comes across way more serious than other people who are serious all the time. You know? Like Drew's been having a hard time for a while. He's been coming off really serious for a long time, but not authentically. These guys come off authentic when they do it because they don't always do it, which I think is interesting.
I think they just got caught early on with the funny stuff. It landed so good that we didn't get enough balance early on to remember how serious they can be. And I love it too. Yeah, I think they're all fantastic.
I don't know anything and I don't like to say too much, but again, I brought it up like 2 weeks ago on episode 1, so I'll just kind of say it again. If this means we're a step closer to actually getting a full-on New Day reunion, this could be a really great way to do that.
Have they cleared?
I don't know. I have no idea, and I don't think so. If I'm the last thing we heard is he doesn't know.
They were on the Drew Barrymore show today.
I was just going to say that they're promoting together, and Big E has been putting out workout videos. But I mean, you can go to the gym and not be cleared for wrestle. When that whole twin thing happened on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, I don't know if you heard about that.
No.
He was going back and forth with the Usos and the New Day on Twitter. You know, are they twins? Are they not twins? Because they're, you know, born 15 minutes apart or whatever, but one was New Year's Eve, one's New Year's Day. He was in the gym as he was putting his videos up. So, I mean, say what you want. I mean, again, you can work out and not be able to wrestle. So who knows?
Absolutely. Because with a neck injury, you can still move your legs and arms and chest and all that, and you can not land on your neck. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. And I don't want to fantasy book them necessarily, but God, if they bring them all three back, I'll lose my shit, man. And this would be such an amazing way to do it. And it would be emotional. And I am in to that.
It's the right guys to do it with too.
It is.
Them focusing on, and I think it'd be cool for them to focus on Xavier because, he had his King of the Ring moment, but I think it'd be really cool for him to have that spotlight because he is such a compelling character. He's such a great figure in and out of the ring. It'd be cool. I'd be really happy to see him have a singles run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
imagine the legacy of all three of these guys, because it wouldn't make them Grand Slam champions, but imagine the legacy of having a stable where you have every member's been a WWE champion and tag champions, and they've all had a mid-tier belt, at least one.
Yeah, it'd be sick. Oh, I mean, let's see. Tozawa and Ivar was cut from Hulu. Was there anything there that I missed?
Tozawa won.
Yeah.
It was a silly ass win, but it was a win. That should not have been cut. It was not that long of a match. They didn't need to cut that shit.
And just like their first match, it was fun and better than you expected. When they came out again, I was like, wait, this is happening again? And then you see the win. It's like, man, fuck, that's awesome.
And next week it's Gable versus Ivar.
They're really keeping Ivar busy with his buddy out, and that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
And it's good. They're doing good. They're funny. They're telling good stories. It'll be interesting. I love Tozawa no matter what he's the dude. And I think Gable's going to be able to do this too, but you can throw him like no other.
Oh, yeah. Gable's so good.
Yeah.
Judgment Day versus The Miz and R-Truth. This is another one of those things, man. Why is this all fucked up? I don't think Truth is helping. I do think that they're all coming off as jokes.
They really pushed it this episode because they had Truth selling the fake merch, giving some of the money to Priest,
him dropping all the money in the beginning, and so you have everyone just kind of like goofing off for a while at the beginning of the match, and you're like,
he won't give money to JD because he's not in the Judgment Day.
Yeah,
he's like, you don't get a cut. You're not in the group,
Which I will give you this. It was funny. It was entertaining. Yeah. But no, I did not find anyone here an actual threat. But Priest. Priest was the only one who came off as kind of a threat here. Because at the end, when he had to fucking put it all down, he just did. Because he was kind of letting it go. You know, he's like, all right, you guys want to fuck around, fine. But then when it got serious, he was just like, okay, I'm shutting it down. And he did. But outside of that, no one else was shutting it down. Everyone else was goofing off. And you're just all like, I don't think R-Truth is giving this the life that Sammy gave the Bloodline. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's just made the entire Judgment Day act a comedy act that's in the middle for a reason. It's not a main event anymore.
Yeah, it's really just saddling them with a bunch of shit they don't need.
Yeah, they're saddled with them now.
Sammy got himself over, and then they told a great story within the Bloodline. Truth is getting himself over, and there is no story within the Bloodline.
Yeah.
It's just Truth getting himself. He's got the top 2 selling T-shirts on WWE Shop, so it's working for R-Truth.
For him, yes,
yeah. It's not working for the Judgment Day. And the absolute one thing I loved about the match, Judgment Day won, and that was the only way they could get out of that and maintain any integrity. Because to your point, like I said, when Truth made the Judgment Day break, and you can see Damian Priest, from that moment, I always felt like he was trying to maintain the integrity of his character. And this is why. The chokeslam to R-Truth to just say, hey, it's done now,
Yep.
But what happens next week, right?
That's a good point.
Truth always finds a way to make it funny again in a way where he doesn't see the truth,
Yeah, exactly. And he's great, and he's funny and hysterical, and he's an incredible athlete, and he can still fucking go. It's just, to me, a little bit of a bummer that in order for other people to be involved with him, they have to also be part of the joke in a way that it's one of the things that made AJ Styles so funny, was that AJ wasn't a part of the joke. he was a character that took himself so seriously that shit would happen around him, and he was funny because he took it so seriously. It wasn't just that he also became a clown, and that's the issue with the way was that they thought to be funny you all have to be a clown. There was no straight man anymore, and Abbott and Costello worked because there was a straight man. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to be actually great comedy, someone there cannot be a clown. Someone there has to not be the clown. And in these skits, everyone goes, "Oh, we're being funny. We'll all be funny." And you go, "Okay, no, someone's got to be straight." And in this one, it's only been Damien, which is why I think he's the only one who's like still looking strong after this, even though he got cucked a fucking again with the Money in the Bank. Dude, every time he comes out, Drew comes out again. It's like, what the fuck is your problem, Drew? Like, I don't get it from a character standpoint. Why does anyone give a shit when the guy cashes in if you think you're good enough to beat anyone, especially the guy about to cash in? You know? Who gives a shit if it's not Seth?
He's so mad that Priest ruined the one match that while he's trying to get his next match, he's still worried about the last match. And that type of mental confusion does not beget success. You cannot have two targets. And that's what he's doing. He's going after the past and the future at the same time. And he's, corny enough, he's going to lose in the present because of it.
Yep. Yeah. That's true. And then also at the same time, if I'm Drew and I've lost to Seth twice, do I give a fuck if Damian Priest has it? I got another shot there, huh? You think I can't get Drew mad enough or Damian mad enough to get me a match? Like,
yeah.
Here's a problem I have too, because I mean, Damian even says it. You know, am I the only one that's worried about, you know, Drew and what he's doing? Well, so how do we resolve this? Because every time he does do something and Drew gets in the way, Damian's not retaliating.
No,
like
doing
it. No, he's not standing there taking punches to the face with his hands down, but he's not looking out for Drew. He's not going after Drew. He's not trying to track down and make sure Drew isn't a problem anymore. He's just saying that, am I the only one that has a problem with him? Well, you kind of don't, because you're not doing anything about it.
Yeah, realistically, if they were, I mean, I guess, are we looking at the destruction of the Judgment Day? Is that what we're getting as a dismantling? Because I don't think it's ready for that. I think it just needs a little more actual life and not comedy in it. Because otherwise, if we want Damian Priest to be the champion, we're going to go hit Drew with a lead pipe and make sure he's not coming out, because he's the only one who keeps stopping him. If every time he tries to cash in, Damian or Drew McIntyre is there, take him out. Throw him off of a scaffolding somewhere. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's going to be a bad thing for them to break up. They've had a good run.
You know,
and we've talked about, like, for Rhea, it would allow Rhea to focus on the women's division. Rhea's done fantastic as a participant in wrestling overall, but at the expense of the women's division, it feels like. I think everyone else here would do everyone else here could do fantastically as singles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just easier to get them all exposure at the same time, right? Instead of throwing different storylines. But I agree with you. And, you know, Rhea's still getting babyface pops when she comes out by herself. The crowd still loves her, and they're always going to. They just hate her when she's next to Judgment Day, which is perfect. It shows how good she can carry her charisma on both sides. But, you know, I was just trying to think, how do you get the tag titles off of Finn and Priest and keep them a collective unit to have Priest back to go get that title? Like you said, distraction, right? Hit him with a lead pipe. Make sure Priest has his straight shot at the title. And it's too convoluted. Everything's so clunky around what's happening. How can Priest actually cash in and win? It doesn't seem like that could happen. No one's looking out for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
speaking of Rhea, she came out and really fucked up her promo. Had a really fucking hard time.
That hasn't happened in a while. She owned it, though.
I didn't think she did. I thought she really flubbed to the point where she just went to her line to get the music to play. I feel like she had 2 more lines she was supposed to say. Or maybe more. She went straight to the cue. She goes, because mommy's always on top. But the idea that she was like, if you want your WrestleMania to challenge WrestleMania on me, well,
She is Australian.
if
Neither
you
one of
wanna-
them English is their first language.
If you want to waste your WrestleMania, Mania, it was really weird. I wonder, because this is what my first thought was like you said, it's been a long time since we've seen that. Is it just me, or has it been a long time since we've seen her alone in the ring with a microphone and not with other people around her?
That's fair.
How many times have we seen her saying stuff and suddenly Damian Priest or Finn Balor says, you know what, Rhea? And starts saying something. How many times is that getting her out of it and we didn't notice? How many times is she getting stuck and other people are going like, Mommy, we get it. You want this, you want that. Maybe they said that because she was supposed to say that and didn't.
That's fair.
Yeah.
The fact that she floundered so hard out there, I was kind of like jaw drop, like, oh shit, she is not ready for this. And it highlights the big problem with keeping her away from the women's division and keeping her in this faction, because at the same time she's not getting better speaking on her own, and the division itself is not getting stronger without her. She goes out there every now and again, beats up a jobber that commentary puts over as a jobber. No idea how this spunky Zoe Stark got out of here, but maybe she can pull one out of nowhere. And you're like, fuck, don't know how Xia Li deserves this match, but fuck it, anyone could win, I guess. And you're like, great, Corey, thanks.
Yeah.
Not to shit on Corey, he's awesome, but it's just, I was surprised. And Becky came out there and did a really good promo, really putting over the idea that she's again had to. The only problem, she's telling a very similar story to Charlotte. You were destined for it. I had to work for it. You're a natural at this. I am not. Very similar to Charlotte. But I don't know. The thing that bothered me the most, context-wise, is Becky said to have a match with Rhea, she has to win the Royal Rumble. And Rhea said, I hope you win because I want a match with you.
That's not how that works.
First off, that is exactly how that works. Why did Tony Khan have a fucking meltdown the other day? Because Jinder Mahal came out last week and told Seth, you're giving everyone these title shots and I want one. And Seth went, okay, you can have one.
Right.
Seth goes out there and does an open challenge all the time. Anybody who wants a title match right now. Because the champion can face whoever they want. Yeah. You don't have a champion in Rhea who's not willing to face Becky. You just had the champion say, I want that match. So then you just get the match. You know what I mean? Like, without telling a part of the story where Becky is too big to have that match on a small scale, it doesn't come across that way. You know what I mean? Without someone like a Becky or Rhea saying that that match deserves the grandest stage because it's going to be the grandest match, which is why I'm going to make sure we get that and solidify that, there's no reason as it stands why Becky can't have a title shot right now because Rhea just accepted. And that bothers me. And because the other thing, Charlotte's proven it time and time again. All you got to do is show the fuck up and say, I used to be champion one time. I want it now. And everyone goes, okay.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, if you're Charlotte, you can say, put me in the main event. And they go, oh, sure.
Right.
Which pay-per-view?
All of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, dude, when you said her being in Judgment Day is what leads to something like this, because that is a complete lack of storytelling awareness across the entire show. That if she wants the match, have it. And then she even said, see you at WrestleMania, as if it's going to be a foregone conclusion.
Yeah. Yeah. Which also means that she's accepted a challenge.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just fucking dumb.
A little bit.
Like, I think that there is such a huge problem, and I don't know why we keep having this problem with telling stories with Becky. She's dynamic and incredible and historied. Why are we having such a hard time putting together a logical story for her? You know what I mean? Like, even if she says that she doesn't want the match until she can prove it to herself, if she's floundering in her self-confidence and goes, you know what, I don't think I'm ready for a match against you, but I think if I won the Rumble, I would feel that way. You know what I mean? Like, why can't we tell a story that explains why she actually feels like the need to go out there instead of just saying, I want you next week for the title and I'll win it, and say, okay. Because, yeah, we know kayfabe. We're trying to build towards these bigger events, right? We're trying to sell tickets. Yeah. But in story, in kayfabe, why would she not just take the match?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially if Rhea said yes. So I don't know.
Right.
It's just been fucking annoying. But I do want them to have a match because they could be fucking incredible. I don't know. Am I missing anything here? Overreacting?
No.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Look, we ask for it all the time. Make it make sense, you know? And if they're gonna WWE's got to be as accountable as any other wrestling promotion that has inconsistencies in their storytelling. And this is absolutely one of them. You laid out exactly why it's not the case that, you know, Becky can't just have that match tomorrow because Rhea says yes. And how many fucking times do we see the champion come out and instigate the challenge?
Yeah.
You know, not just the challenger going, I want a match. Champion go, okay. The champion's like, you know what? I think I want to fight this guy. I want to challenge you to a match. No, you're the champion. You don't challenge shit. Sasha used to do it all the time, right? It seemed like every time Sasha wrestled somebody with the title, she's the one that called out her opponent. I want to wrestle you next. It's like, no, that's not how this works. They gotta earn the opportunity somehow.
But they've also established that is how it works. That the champion,
True.
And that's the flip side. A champion can force you to earn your way there, or the champion can just gift it to whoever because they're the champion. They have the right to challenge whoever they want, which also means they have the right to say no to whoever they want.
Right.
Unless you don't have that right, which means they would have to do something else. So if Rhea said, Becky, I want nothing to do with you. The only way I'm going to fight you is if I'm forced into it because of a Rumble thing. You know, the last thing I want is try and take down the man. I've seen what you do. And you know what? Good luck to you, but I hope you don't win. I never want to see you in the ring because I'm holding on to this forever and you're a threat.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
Then at some point you go, okay, Rhea's not going to do the match unless she has to, unless Becky wins something that gives her the right to. So, but they don't do that. They just go, I want a match. Me too. Oh, guess what'll never happen.
That settles it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this then, real quick, because last go round it was Nia wants Rhea and Nia wants Becky. Now Becky wants Rhea. How does this end up? Because you know, like Nia told Rhea, "I'm going to win the Royal Rumble and challenge for your title." Becky said the same thing. You know.
Yeah, they're not both winning. They're just trying to set up, you know, people to cheer for and boo for, and they're trying to set up, I think, for the final four. I think they want the people to be Nia and Becky, and oh my god,
The same way they're doing it for the men's side with Cody, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, all that. It's that simple.
Yep.
Ugh.
And part of me thinks that Becky wins as her comeuppance against Nia. That because Nia beat her in that other match, that now you get the final two being Nia and Becky somehow gets Nia over the top rope, and then it's Becky Lynch, the first two-time Women's Royal Rumble winner, and Nia finally getting what's coming to her. I think on the flip side, the only other way that it happens is if Bayley wins the Rumble, because I just want her to for sake of, and then Becky wins like a chamber match that we would have Nia, and that she would have to eliminate Nia last. You know what I mean? Like kind of a deal. But I think that however we get there, Becky is taking out Nia to get us there. Yeah. I think that's been setting up.
Yeah, that's fair.
Nia is again in the way of Becky.
Yeah.
Shayna Baszler versus Zoe Stark. Well, you know what? Hold on, what do we got here? Two more things. All right, I was going to do this. Hold on. Cheers, fans for Sports Network. Say what?
Sorry, go ahead.
You saying you have some more of your sandwich?
I said, sorry, go ahead. So if you want to do that reset for Fans for Sports Network, I apologize.
Oh, it's all good. Pour a drink for Fans for Sports Network. Take a bite of your sandwich. Thumb it if you got it. And we're going to hit up the tail end here of Raw. We had Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark defeating Tegan Nox and Natalya. I like Tegan and Natalya as a team. This, again, was cut from Hulu, so I don't know how they're functioning as a team. But aesthetically and in my mind, I feel like they would work really well together. And I did see Natty's gear that night. The white and black looked pretty fucking slick.
And shorts.
And the shorts, which, I mean, she's a beast. she should be flashing a little bit of those muscles. She's jacked, and she's lean now too.
Yeah.
So it's not like
and she's proud of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
She looks incredible. So yeah, show it off and look scary at the same time. I'm all here for it. Natty can do no wrong in my book. Apart from that, did Natty take the loss?
Yeah. Yeah, she was the one to take the submission loss. Yeah.
Damn it. What you guys think of the match?
But you look great doing it.
I tell you this, again, since we've had our Natty conversations over and over again, watching her be Mama Bear, it does take the sting off of the stuff that doesn't look right. But when she has now the opportunity to lay her shit in, like, and not in the wrestling term to do all her moves, but like actually just perform wrestling, she's looking good, man. She's looking good. She's looking fast, sound, which is always great. It's just that Mama Bear stuff it's not fluid, all the time. But I thought she looked great. I enjoyed her performance. I wish her and Tegan looked a little bit better together, but because they're still like two singles wrestling together.
Yeah.
But hey, this is probably Tegan's longest stretch being healthy, knock on wood. So that's good too.
Yeah. I do think also over time with Natty having the workhorse gym and the ring, I have a feeling that that's part of the reason why she's becoming a lot more crisp with some of these people is it's not 100% happening on TV. Yeah. She's getting these motherfuckers to her house and saying, we're going to run some drills. And we're going to both be snapping. So
they just put another picture out today. Got Jey Uso in the mix, all that.
Jey Uso was over there?
Mm-hmm.
God, so fucking cool, dude. I think it is cool. They're building some, like a tag team division somewhat. It's a little clunky. Natty's tagged with everybody in the world, but like there's a reason for like Shayna and Zoe to be together. Candice and Kaden are doing their thing. Like we had the tag match earlier. I forget who was in it already. Yeah, Chelsea and Piper, Indy, Candice. We have tag teams to be facing. I wonder if we're not building towards a fatal 4-way women's tag team match at Mania, or even how they did the year or two ago where they did the tag team. What'd you call it? The match you liked? It was the tag team showcase?
Yeah, the showcase, yep.
Yeah, they could do that with the women this year, and I think it'd be sick. And it would work. Because
it was Ashanti the Adonis, not Jey Uso. Apologies for mullet stereotyping.
Ashanti was at the workhorse thing? That was way different.
Yeah.
Ashanti needs it way more than Jey Uso.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just saw the haircut and was like, oh, that's Jey Uso. But then I zoomed in, I was like, oh, that's Ashanti. Dawkins was there again.
Good.
Yeah.
Before we talk main event, was there any backstage stuff that I missed? I know they had some gender backstage stuff. They had the Seth backstage thing. Seth walked in with a kid. I don't remember if there's anything else backstage that really stood out.
Yeah, we don't know where he got that kid.
Yeah.
He just grabbed a kid, dude.
Because isn't like his kid really young still?
That's the kid, dude. The kid was born in COVID. Think about it. That was fucking 4 years ago.
That's a big 4-year-old, man.
Yeah.
And not even 4. Because she walked out in Money in the Bank 2020.
Yeah.
So like it was born towards the end of, so she just turned 3. That was a big kid. Yeah, it might be somebody else.
Yeah.
No, dude, that's their kid, and that kid is born to be a champion. That's why she's big.
True story.
No, that's championship blood right there.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be better if he just stole some fucking kid?
Like Montez did and ended up in all the fucking intros with it now? Bullshit, dude. Bishop's muted. What'd you say?
I dropped my mic. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
It's all good. Technical difficulties. It's only episode 1. Nobody worry. It's just episode 1. But all right, main event. Seth freaking Rollins against Jinder Mahal, who brought out Veer and Sangha of Indus-Sher. Veer's put on a little bit of weight. He was a little more cut last time we saw him. I still think we're missing something with Veer. Yeah, he stopped showing up. I do think we're still missing something vital to Veer. His story is in and of itself remarkable. And we're really going with a very classic Indian character. They are both big and domineering, and I do think they work well as a tag team. I just think we could be a little more creative here with how the three of them are portrayed and interact with each other, but I do think they should be a team. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Outside of that, dude, people were hot for Jinder here. They wanted Jinder to win. Seth has been saying over and over again that he's made the championship the most important championship in all of wrestling. And it's just so evident that it's just not true.
No.
And as good as Seth is, fucking Jinder, right after Seth gets hit in the fucking head with a briefcase, Jinder hits him with the, I want to call it the Khaleesi. Koloss. I always called it the Khaleesi. Different.
Yeah.
Hits him with the Koloss after being smashed in the fucking head with a briefcase. And he kicked out at like 1.5, dude. No one's kicked out of the Koloss. Randy Orton went out to it on 1 every time. This Super Seth thing, this could be the end of people supporting him. He could start getting booed here pretty quick. I think you can't just be burying motherfuckers' finishes like that. And I think that, dude, the whole finish was bad. It was so bad that as soon as that happened, I was like, what the fuck? And it spoiled the whole thing. Even when Seth won, no one like cheered. They were like, well, I guess we get to sing the song now. It's more evident than ever that the song is more over than his character right now.
Yeah.
And it's not because of his ability. It's because of the booking, you know?
Yeah. Is this the Hogan must? Is this the Hogan must pose of it? You know, like it has to end with the song going.
Yeah. The audience must sing. You know, Hogan must pose. The Super Cena era that people were really frustrated with. The 6 years of Roman getting his ass kicked and then hitting one spear and one Superman punch and being done. Those were the things that people turn on because it just doesn't make sense. Where the whole match might make sense, and then we see a thing where we go, oh, and it's not built right, right? If he had hit the Koloss and then he kicked out, and then they hit him with a briefcase, and then he kicked out, then you'd be like, holy shit, what's going on? But to do it all at once in fucking 10 seconds.
That's what I was going to say earlier. Like, it was so quick. We see it all the time, right? There's an interference, a finisher, and then the guy rolls so far away after he hits the finisher that the climb back is enough time for the opponent to kick out. Completely on board with that. I was so in that moment that Jinder won because it was the timing of it. Briefcase, Koloss immediate. Holy shit. I was number one, I was here for the chaos, right? Like, dude, just do it. Just do it. Like, fucking do it. Let's figure it out afterwards, right? Because everything's hot right now. But then the match got me there. Where I could believe that this was going to happen. Because there's one thing WWE really doesn't do is a gratuitous victory to change the story, right? They try to make it big, and then this is where we're going, right? So, like, as big as Drew was in Cardiff, as big as Sammy was in Montreal, they weren't going to do it just because the moment was. It's got to continue. But this match and the scuttlebutt that happened around it with how flat that Seth has been was perfect. It was the perfect timing to go, you know what? Fucking right. Let's do it for the chaos. We'll figure it out on the back end. And they didn't pull the trigger. And to your point, man, from that moment on, the rest of the match, how it ended, so fucking clunky, disjointed. It just didn't feel like it was a deflation.
Yep. It was deflated, and it just felt like, well, I guess we got to finish the match now. And everyone sat with like arms crossed. And then Seth wins, and everyone went, okay, let's sing, I guess.
Yep.
Like, it wasn't a big celebration of Seth beating the bad guy. It was, God, they fucked Jinder again, and they fucked his finish. You know what I mean? Like, Clump, what'd you think of this?
It's
I like Jinder.
Well, I like Jinder more and more because like the dude does, like he's a heel and he does the shit well. And I like that the Colossus protected. I like the idea that it might happen. Yeah. Like to me,
I'm just Shanti over here. You keep going.
Yeah. But yeah, that it went the way it did just sucked. It was needless. The booking was bad. There's just I would have rather this be like a schmoz from the start, where like like everyone gets involved, it turns into a big blow up, it's pointless, and it's 5 minutes of just fucking around.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, now you didn't get the match, and now what? And then Seth can say something. So, you know what, man? I'm not giving you the match. If you're gonna do that, forget it. Let make Jinder have to earn it back, But now you get. I feel like you're gonna end up with a fatal 4-way, or not fatal 4-way, but I feel like you're gonna end up with a 4-way in the Rumble, where it's gonna be like a Jinder, Punk, Cody,
McIntyre.
and Drew. That's gonna be the final 4. You're gonna have Jinder and Drew looking at each other like, ooh, But
we used to be bandmates. Yeah,
and then and then some of the commentary can be like Drew's I know, bring Heath back, motherfucker, for the Rumble. Imagine that.
I'd be happy with 28. That. Yeah, that'd be a great
28.
Pop. Yeah,
28.
Drew and
I got
Jinder
kids.
In there. Yeah. I'm a member.
I'm a man. Woman, man. How's it going?
Yeah.
No, I tell you, again, as you guys are talking, I'm remembering the match in these little steps, right? Indashir comes out with him, and my immediate thought was, okay, we're getting the chaos with the interference. So not only is Jinder going to win, but he's going to be illegitimate when he wins because the guys cheated for him, right? That was my first thought, because once I say that to myself, I go, oh, and Seth has no body. Seth has no backers to this. Seth has no buddies that are going to come protect him. That don't exist. And then the match, like I said, the match got me there to like, holy shit, Jinder's going to win this. Then Damian Priest comes out, and you think that there's a chance that all this fuckery is going to happen. We're going to have something. And at the end of the day, with all this chaos that happens, with a really solid match that can have you believe Seth loses here, that when it's all said and done, it all stays the same. Nothing better, nothing worse. It's just really, really deflating.
Yeah. And at this point, we could not see Jinder until the Rumble. It'd be fine.
Yeah.
But how much does that cool him off? The promo with The Rock. The promo on Raw afterwards. Like, get to the match. To fucking, again, do it. Not just for the chaos, but because it was that hot and it made sense. That's all I asked. Again, my problem with Cody, like, it made sense for people cheering, but not what was on TV. Everything Jinder did on TV made sense for him to win that fucking title, especially who the opponent has been and how stale it's been. Like, it would work. It would work.
Now I don't know where we're going with Seth. Clump, overall, as we wrap it up, where do you feel about the status of Seth as a champion?
I still stick by the idea that he was given a pretty shit task and he's kind of stuck with it.
Yes, and I feel like that they've done him a disservice by keeping it on him this whole time.
Yes.
Who is Seth? Who is Seth without the title?
Somebody who's talented and can chase it. Because maybe him who's had multiple titles, who's had all this, saying, I lost that meant something to me, I'm chasing it now, that could be cool. And that might put some weight on the title because it's not working.
Can he be a Brock Lesnar or Nakamura where he's a side quest guy to build talent, or does he have to chase or hold? Because if that's a shit spot to be in, that means you have no value anywhere else. And I think he's more talented than that, but I don't think his character work is more talented than that.
I think he could be that, but I think it would also, that would be a better way to do what they want to do here, which is build this belt up. Like, I want that belt. I want my belt back.
Right.
I just think that if you're crushing everyone along the way, it doesn't mean as much. I mean, you want it in a tournament, and the whole reason it showed up, I think by flipping it around a little bit, plus we have a whole bunch of fucking titles that are just on one person forever.
Mm-hmm.
You no longer have that feeling that anything can happen in the WWE.
Well, that's in wrestling generally right now. It's like you don't, with the exception of Impact, you don't know if somebody's gonna fucking drop a belt during a normal show, and we need that once in a while.
That's what Jinder did to AJ. Remember, he won it on a SmackDown in fucking, or was it AJ taking it off Jinder? In the UK.
AJ took it off Jinder in the UK, yeah.
Yeah. And when AJ was US champion and KO took it off him in Madison Square Garden at a live show. I think it was a mistake. Like, I think it was literally an accident. But it happened. I think that some of these titles that are not your main event titles, and this is not, need a little action to build interest, so it becomes that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You hear Seth versus Jinder's going to main event, and you go, I don't know if I got to watch it. You see all the stuff Jinder's doing, you're like, oh, they might do it. They might give it to Jinder. And then they don't, and you go, yeah, I don't have to fucking watch Seth matches, man. If he's just going to fucking crush all my guys every time, you
don't
know?
need to care about it.
And if you want to see it kayfabe, and all of a sudden be like, well, they're not going to do it on that show, it's going to have to be a bigger show. Well, then what the fuck am I watching the other shows for?
If Jinder was in that match without his last two promos beforehand, you automatically go, Seth's going to win, right? But when he built himself in such a short time to get to the main event, like, it felt like something, and the something turns out to be nothing. And that's, again, like, I can't harp on that enough. Like you've been saying, like, to not give this title some flip-floppery or show that it is desired and obtainable. Because if not, like you said, it's basically just gear for Seth now. Like, it doesn't mean anything to anyone else. They all want it because Seth, not even because Seth has it, but because it's a title. Like, I want to be champion.
Holds up his pants.
Because there's nothing else to fight for. Because there's nothing else.
I want to be champion. 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 Like,
And because I can't have Roman, then I'm going to go for Seth.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we've said before, Cody's already said, I'm not interested in Seth's belt. I'm interested in the important one.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we've degraded it in every way that we can. So at a certain point, in order to give it life, it needs to have a life and not just be sitting on a shelf. And unfortunately, Seth is a shelf right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not giving it a purpose. He's just giving it a milestone. That's all he's giving it, is so they can say, oh, the first one held it this long. But without somebody saying they want it because of sake of it, because it means something. Right now, we only have people who just want to take it off Seth because they don't like Seth.
Yes.
No one wants it because it means something to them. It means nothing to anybody except Seth. It's my precious. You know what I mean? So I just want it off you because I just don't want you to have it. It's just kind of weird, man. It's weird, and I felt like this was really the fucking moment. But at the same time, they got us talking. Don't hinder Jinder. Fucking love Jinder.
Yeah, but now in a rematch, nothing would go different because the best shot was taken. And, you know, I mean, what's going to hurt more than a Colossus after getting hit in the head with a briefcase?
Yep.
So they spoiled a rematch too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to see Jinder go through that again. Like, I don't know. It's weird because, to do it that way was just like, well, fuck them.
Yep.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it doesn't make me more interested in some sort of CM Punk match with the two of them. Because I know a lot of people are trying to say that's the biggest match you could ever do is CM Punk and Seth. Why? I'd rather see Randy versus Seth, or not Randy versus Seth, Randy versus Cody. Rather see Roman Rock. Rather see Sammy Roman again. Rather see Sammy KO. You know? I'd rather see Sammy Drew. Like,
I want to see CM Punk wrestle with his enigma or his ego.
Yeah. They did announce he's going to be wrestling at Perth, but they haven't said who. Do you think?
I thought they just said he's going to be there.
Really? I thought they said they're going to wrestle. They might just have him there. They're doing so little with him. What do you think it's about? Do you think it's? Are they trying to
they know? They know. I think it's because they know.
He's not what he was, and he wasn't that great. He's he's a built-up enigma for a very specific set of people, and that's great, but they're not going to be super happy. And I think what's more tragic is he's going to go in and either he's going to look like shit and they're going to be like, wow, That sucks. Or it's gonna be this group of people blaming everyone around him because he's the best in the world. And at the end of the day, he's a 40-something-year-old dude who's been out of the game for a while, and at this point, he's got his ass kicked out of a pretty cush job.
Yeah, I think they know. I think they saw what they needed to see. I think they've heard what they've needed to hear, and they know what they're doing. You know, what happens when AEW gets a shiny new toy? Look at my toy! Look at my toy! Look at my toy! And they don't fucking stop. But WWE knows what they're doing, and we've talked about it all the time. They produce a TV show. They don't have a wrestling sandbox where they just throw shit out there. So if it doesn't make sense, they don't put it in. And to your point about building those Final Fours, what's the promo for next week, right? Cody face to face with CM Punk. So now you have your round robin of those three of Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk. They're now in tune with talking to each other on TV. They're not overexposing him because I think they know he's limited, and potentially from the Dominic match, they know he's limited in the ring.
Yeah.
That's my hunch too. Because, they've had him out here like every other week for like one segment. And it's felt a little bit like, they're not trying to use him too much because they know this is a pretty thin veil. So
they did it with Ronda too, right? Ronda had this up and down exposure her entire contract of how much they wanted to give us. They pull back, give us, pull back. That by the end of it, they ran out the contract and it just was what it was. They're going to do that with Punk too. I don't think they care how many times he wrestles or how many times they talk. Will they get the money out of him that they're spending through his merch and ticket sales? Bet your ass they will. And they're going to do it as smart as they always do. And at the end of the day, Punk will get what he wants and they'll get what they want. And it's not going to be to the detriment of the WWE and their product. It's just not how they operate.
Yep. I think so too. I just want to know if you guys noticed that too, because he's not come out much and he's not in a program and he's not said much and we don't know who he's fighting ever. He's had one match and it was at a live show and apparently it was pretty short. So made me think. But yeah, with that, I'm ready to do last call if you guys are.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I think we beat it into the ground. I think we always do. Always like coming over here and beating off with you guys. A couple of my bros.
Okie cookie.
Ooh.
The okie cookie of the IWC.
Hell yeah. You guys can try and fight Clump. You will not. He has made sure of that. He is off the grid. He is living in a dungeon. It is amazing.
Yeah.
But Bishop, where people find you?
At TW Takes Podcast on Twitter and twtakespodcast.com. I have a podcast and I'm on this show.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Also, if you do find Clump, you're probably in trouble.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the day if somebody goes, "Hey, you're from that show I watch," and I'll just be like, "Oh, fuck."
Dude, that happened to me one time. It was weird.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I was outside of Raw in Phoenix. I was walking by the stadium because I was thinking about going to go in and be a seat filler. But I was like feeling kind of tired because that morning I drove out there to meet Kevin Owens. It was like a 6 a.m. thing. And I was like, I don't know, I'm feeling kind of tired now. I don't know if I'm going to feel. And then I felt like, hey, if I'm not sure if I want to go inside this building to watch a wrestling show, probably should lean into that. There's probably something really wrong with me because I would give a lot to go in there. And so I ended up going home and falling asleep before the show even started. So probably safe, probably good. But as I was walking by, someone went, "Oh my God, that's Marsh." And I was like, "What the fuck?" And I was all like, "Did I go to school with someone over here? What's going on?" And someone's like, "Oh, I watch your show." And I was like, "Well, fucking awesome."
Wait, was it a lady?
Yeah.
Hispanic?
To tune in?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No, I know who it was.
Yeah? Did they go to Raw?
She told me. Yeah.
Yeah? Awesome. It was great. Well, that explains why she didn't want a photo. But it was cool. But yeah, guys, you can find me at Ref Marsh on Venmo, at Marsh Ref on Instagram. You can find me on Pro Wrestling Spotlight with John Orezi at youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Spotlight. You can see me chopping it up with Medusa over at youtube.com/Queen of Carnage. And outside of that, I'm floating around. I'm doing stuff. I'm like a nugget. You can't flush me.
Yeah.
Guys, we'll be back tomorrow night for a brand new episode 1 right here in the dive bar of the IWC. Guys, that's last call.
Cheers.
Producer Lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support and buy us a drink by putting the I in subscribe and reviewing our podcast. And cheers to Fans First Sports Network for keeping the dive bar lights on.
I would never have a drink with wrestling on the rocks.